what I would like to,
Please go ahead,
what
sir.
I want to share with you is that apartment culture came into Bangalore maybe about 35 years back, because from my childhood, I probably hardly saw any apartment. And well, but in the growing up years, I did notice a few apartments, not of a multi-story one, especially in Mangalore, where mostly our, what you call, um, our contemporaries from the coastal region, that is the Mangalore and that coastal region, those who went to Maharashtra for a better employment, etc., and on retirement, etc., they came and settled down in that area of Malleshwaram. You do go to Malleshwaram, you will see a lot of Konkani speaking people. They started this culture of living together in apartments. So just about probably 10, 12 apartments, that kind of a thing. Subsequently, since the city grew up, apartments started coming up. And if I may not be wrong, that where I stay, a place called Jalavayu Vihar, is another complex which has come up about 30 years back. I mean, well, I picked up an apartment here and I started staying here for a couple of years' time, then moved out of this place, went to another place, etc., and did not pay an iota of attention to what this apartment complex and whole thing about. And more so because our community is promoted by our own service organization, which is a welfare organization and not a typically builder-oriented organization. So that's another reason that nothing of outside never came into our picture. It's only in the last 6-7 years' time that after having lived outside for about good 20 years in the civilian world, I mean, I say civilian world because not that we are not civilians anymore. We still wear our uniform, in the sense the culture, etc., is typically military style. And most of the people who live in my community are also ex-servicemen. So it's like a small pocket within this large city of Bangalore. Right? Only when I came back here, with having rubbed shoulders with others in the outside world, I had realized some amount of understanding of what this apartment, etc., etc. And when I came back here and I found that our land had not got transferred, our UDS was not in place, and our association was also not in place. And only then, after having been an owner for almost 25 years, I realized that our association claimed to be an association registered under Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 1972. And even then, it did not make much of a difference to me because everything was going on well and maintenance was being done, etc., etc. And a problem of water supply came up. And in one of the general body meetings, I raised questions and demanded answers. And that is when people turned around and said, why are you asking questions? Why don't you become the secretary yourself and improve the whole thing? And I said, sorry, I don't want to become a secretary of an organization which is not properly registered. And things went on like that. And I was sort of compelled to take up shoulder responsibility, and they put me into an audit board. And when they put me into an audit board, they didn't realize that they made a mistake of putting a chap who was fairly well, equipped with auditing, right? I found a lot of financial irregularities, and that became a huge, a controversy. I was removed from the audit committee, and I realized that things were not going well. I didn't know whom to complain. That is when I started looking for what is the basis of this particular association and whom do I turn to if I have a problem. I went from pillar to post trying to find out who will accept my complaint. Right? First was the sub-registrar, because the document which was being quoted as a registration certificate was the sub-registrar's registration of the deed of declaration. Sub-registrar said, I have nothing to do. This is only that I register a thing, put a name and please carry on. So like this, we went around in circles, and of course, a few more people joined me, and we went around in circles and finally landed up at the Registrar of Cooperative Societies. Now, there also I was told that, sorry, we have nothing to do with you. Yes, the Act of Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72 says that Registrar of Cooperative Societies is the competent authority, but our competence has not been defined by the government. We don't know what to do. You just give us a complaint, we'll just put it into the waste paper basket. We'll not answer you. I said, no, that will not do. So after again going around in circles with different organizations, then I, with the help of another slightly influential person who happened to be in one of the media houses, right? I went back to Registrar of Cooperative Societies, and this time I addressed it not as Registrar of Cooperative Societies. I addressed that complaint to him as Competent Authority of Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72. And fortunately for me, having been in the government and having been in the services, it gives me a little bit, I would put it this way, a slight amount of edge that, I mean, I am not scared of thumping the table and saying that you don't push me around. So I went there and told them that, sorry, I am giving you as per what is written in the Act. I don't care whether you have competence or not. The Act says you are competent. If you don't have competence, you tell me that I am incompetent. I'll accept it. So my complaint was accepted, heard, but then at the end of it, finally, it went through almost a year of hearing, etc. And in the meantime, 4 registrars changed. I mean, it's like a musical chair. Finally, the last person who held my appointment, who was hearing my case, gave a decision saying that I have no jurisdiction over this particular case and dismissed the case. So that went into a limbo. So since then, I stopped paying maintenance to my association. And that is the state of affair. Even today, I don't pay maintenance to my association. We are at a loggerheads. And now, after all this has happened, in the last 7-8 years time that I've been fighting, I have been termed as, anti-national, terrorist, and beggar, parasite, whatever you call, because I've stopped paying maintenance. This is my own people who are my contemporaries, who are my been colleagues, who are my friends, etc. But I said, I'm going to stand firm on this. I am not going to pay. So after a long time, slowly, the issue of land has been put into their head. And though we have the land within our own compound, a 21-acre plot, which is pretty huge. We have only 540 houses here, right? And slowly people have started realizing that the real value of any particular asset, it's the land. It's not the building, because buildings come, buildings go. God forbid tomorrow, if there is an earthquake or if some kind of a damage takes place, the building will vanish, and what is left over is only the land. And if at all you have an asset, it is the land which is an asset. And since our community is already 30 years old, and a large number of apartments have changed hands because of inheritance and also due to transfer of property because of sale. So a large number of younger generation, and especially pan-India, that is not the local Kannada-speaking population from Karnataka, a lot of outsiders from all part of the state country have come into purchase property here. Slowly they have realized that yes, this makes sense. So the community is slowly turning around to understand that the importance of owning the land is of primary concern, and at this point of time we are working towards finding a solution to that problem. But even that is difficult because the association is not registered. We are not a body corporate, and there is a section of the community still feel that Apartment Ownership Act 72 will sufficiently give us the safeguard of property, but that process is still going on. And hopefully, I'm a part of that committee which is looking to solve this problem. Hopefully, in the next couple of months' time, we will be able to, bring it down to pinpoint to what exactly is to be done and get our land transferred. Fortunately for us, that the promoter of our community, that is, it's another service organization. We have no issue with the promoter. The promoter is ready to transfer the land and give it to us, provided we tell him exactly what is the process to be done. Unlike in the outside world, where the promoter is least interested in transferring the land to us. Right? The once we get our land transferred, the documentation part of it becomes simpler, because today, and Dhanuja is also fully aware, we have not been able to identify a single property in Karnataka where the project land has got transferred to an association of owners. So we don't even have a template. We don't even have an example to see how it is done. And the revenue authorities, that is the sub-registrar, the inspector general of stamps and registration, is totally clueless how it is done because it's never been done. Right. So this is the stage at which we are. Right. So this is what I thought is the introduction to this whole problem. Is there are basically two issues that all of us need to tackle. One is to get our project land transferred to the association of owners, and the second thing is to ensure that each owner, that is each apartment owner, gets what is his entitlement of undivided share or undivided interest of land, which means that, right, this is the amount of land you own in this particular complex or the project land, so that tomorrow when it comes to question of redevelopment, it can be worked out as to what is your entitlement. Depending on the FIR at that particular time, redevelopment takes place, you will get a size of a similar flat or two flats, or in a proportionate ratio. If that is not determined, then you don't know where to go to. And to enable to do this, you need to have an association which is legally empowered to hold asset. And as of today, as per Karnataka's laws, prevailing laws here, there are only two organizations which can possess property. One is an association registered under the Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act of 1959, and the other is the Company Act. Right? This is where the option is. So we need to look forward to or move towards in that direction to establish an association and then demand transfer of conveyance of land from the promoter to our association. That's it, Dhananjay. You can proceed.
Yeah, I think thanks a lot, Commander Surendra sir, for a quick and detailed introduction about the importance of an association. So what I do is I will just quickly glance through today's important topic that we wanted to discuss all together about the apartment handover process, right? So let me run through the slide, and I will take a help of a slide. I think that will help a lot of people to understand and visualize better. So please let me know once the screen is visible to all of you. Yeah, I'll just share the screen. Is it visible?
Yep.
Yeah, visible.
Yeah. So please let me know once it goes to a PPT mode, then I will start. Is it in the PPT mode now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we wanted to discuss is all about apartment handover, right? So this is a brief introduction about Karnataka Home Buyers Forum. So you can follow us on at Facebook page Karnataka Home Buyers Forum, at Twitter at K_Home Buyers, and if you want to write to Karnataka Home Buyers Forum at gmail.com. So basically, for home buyers protection, flat owners associations, and home buyers across Karnataka, that we have more than 150 plus organizations are part of the initiative. Yeah. So I think today's panel, I think Vijay already explained about Commander Surendra sir. So I will just skip this slide. And this is my brief introduction. I will skip this slide also. And Vijay introduced me as a social worker. That I do as a passion. But my regular work is I work in an IT company as a vice president and taking care of the cloud business and run multiple NGOs just to, as a passion. And I founded many NGOs in the sector. And Discussion Class is another education NGO that I provide, that we provide. Not we provide as a group of home buyers to not group of home buyers, a lot of enthusiastic social activists combined together to support 100 plus students across Karnataka. And Netaji Kaptebalaga and Mantri Serenity, you may be aware of a lot of things that roaming around Mantri developers in last 2 years. So we have been pioneered in getting through some of these cheats exposed in the society, and then we litigated them against ED, and I'm the primary complainant for putting the Mantri in the ED's case, and then litigating under FIRs. And then now the court has given Mantri not to sell 380 something flats until unless the crime that he has committed in our case being closed. So we have attached more than 300 crores in this particular project, so that the builders don't run away from their responsibility, right? that's the Mantri Sanity Home Buyers Forum that we have formed, and Commander Surathan sir is also part of the organization. And then for Karnataka Home Buyers Forum is basically evolved as a a project of Mantri Sanity Home Buyers Forum. Later it becomes a combination of all associations within Karnataka, and then right now serving as Sanchalak or of Karnataka Home Buyers Forum, where we have a lot of enthusiastic and very experts in the organizations. And all these people are from the Home Buyers Association or a Flat Owners Association, right? The experience all these people carrying forward is combined into a forum. That's all, nothing else, right? Each project, so some or the other issues are going on. So we are trying to group together all the problems so that we get a collective solution. That's the fundamental idea behind that. So rest of the thing, I think I will just keep it out, and then also work with cooperative society segment also. Guru Raghavendra scam that you must have seen. I have worked on some of those aspects in exposing the scam and also finding solutions to it. And DICGC insurance increase from 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. And then COCO loan app scam I exposed as an individual along with my students. And also worked on EWS flat scams that is going on now, and the UDS scam, and as well as upcoming is Khata scam. So that is getting exposed, which is more than 30-40,000 crores in Karnataka. Okay, so those are all some of the scams exposures that we do as a team. Yeah. Okay, so that's a brief introduction, and then let me come to the apartment. Why apartment is becoming important in Karnataka is the availability of the land is a bigger issue. I think Commander sir covered it very well. Why it is important? Because of the land unavailability, right? The land rate is reaching a rocket, high, right? The earlier it was 1,000 rupee per square feet in city areas. Now it has reached 15,000, 20,000, some areas 25,000 also, right? So these middle class families can afford such a big land rate and construct independent houses. It is practically impossible, right? So that's why apartment culture or apartment kind of living is not a luxury life or is not an option anymore for majority of the middle class people. So it is become inevitable for majority of them, right? For whatever reason. So that's where the focus of apartment is coming up in Karnataka, especially in Bangalore, where the land availability is becoming a problem. I think even you must have noticed the government is finding difficult to get the land for their government programs. So that is a state that we are living in, right? So that's where apartment is inevitable, and we have to strengthen the laws and strengthen the system that revolving around the apartment. So one of the important aspects whenever any apartment home buyers purchases any flat is how do we organize, right? So that's where the apartment association will come into picture, where all apartment owners association combine together to become a member of the association and facilitate and manage the amenities available within the apartment. So that's some important aspects, managing the amenities. And why AOA is required? So to take care of the maintenance and to work for the welfare of the society and conduct events or awareness programs and protect the rights of the apartment owners, and to defend the legal action raised against the association. So these are the important 5 aspects. I just try to summarize into 5. Very important. I think most of the association that is running in Karnataka are taking care of the maintenance, no problem, whichever is the act. They're taking care of welfare of the residents, no problem. They're conducting events, no problem. What is lacking is last points 4 and 5 to protect the rights of the apartment owners. And the 5th point is to defend the legal action raised against the association. These 4 and 5 are very important. I will tell you why. So why it is required to be registered? So because the law says until unless you are not a registered body, you can't represent others, right? Very straightforward answer from both National Consumer Court and any other court. It has to be a registered body, right? And what are the benefits of association? If it is registered, the funds collected is accounted, right, and used for transparency. And the association will be able to take action against defaulting resident. For example, if somebody is not paying a maintenance, right, and if it is in a registered association, you can litigate against the owners who are not paying the maintenance and also attach the property. For example, if an individual owner is staying, I think maintenance collection is not a big deal. But if some influential persons are staying in an apartment, right? I don't want to name any particular stuff. I will call it as influential persons. And if they are staying in an apartment, collecting maintenance from them is a challenge. And the second category are the landowners. Some of the landowners will retain some of the flats and they give it for rent. And those landowners will try to create dramas and nataks in paying the maintenance. And the third category is some builders. They also retain some flats and they also try to create dramas in paying the maintenance. And then, association have to run behind like a beggars, right? So these are the three categories why it is important that we have to have a registered association which has a capacity and capability to litigate and attach the flats and then recover the maintenance. If you don't have a registered association, we can't do that. That's the importance of registered association. And then registered association can take conveyance deed from the developers to take control of the project land title and initiate apartment handover, right? Very, very important aspects. I think Commander Surendra sir tried to explain with his example of Jalwahai Vihar apartment, where they are taking a step forward to take a conveyance of the title, right? And this is one of the important aspects. If the association is not registered, you cannot take a title transfer. You cannot take a execute a conveyance deed, very period. Only two organizations, one is apartment registered under Cooperative Society or apartment registered under Companies Act. These are the two entities that can take a title. So period. So if it is not registered, your land transfer cannot happen in the lifetime. Okay, so let's come to the three important acts. People are using it. I will not call it as the legal entities or anything of that sort. Right now, this is existing. Karnataka Societies Registration Act 1960. There are a lot of associations who are registered under 1960. And in 2018, there is one High Court order that came, and Register of Cooperative Society issued a notice saying that association and registered under 1960 cannot collect the maintenance, right? This is the order given by the High Court. And the purpose of the 1960 Act is only for a charitable in nature. Like, if you want to run an NGO, right? You can do that under 1960. So apartment association, legally, as per today, you cannot register. And the second option is some people call it as Apartment Ownership Act 1972, and they say it is registered. So I will go by the what exists in the prevailing in the society. There are a lot of associations registered. They claim to be registered under Act 1972. And if you go and ask, where did you register your apartment association, and show me the registration certificate, right? Important thing is, whenever we register a company, right, you go to a register of companies and they give you a company registration certificate, correct? So that will carry your company registration number, and register of companies will assign your registration certificate and mention the validity also, something like that, right? So there is a registration certificate issued by the competent authority. Companies Act need to be registered under Register of Company Societies, MOA. And then the Apartment Ownership Act 1972, as per the Act definition, competent authority is Register of Cooperative Society. But any builder has done this, they have not done anything of that sort. The Register of Cooperative Society is a competent authority, but they never go to the competent authority and ask to register an association under Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act, right? So they don't do that. But what they claim is they will get a signature and the seal of the bylaws under sub-register office and say that this is the registration number. And unfortunately or fortunately, many of the home buyers are believing that, and they're running the show, because the first 1, 2, 3 point that I mentioned, to make the welfare association running, to have a cultural celebration, and to take care of the daily needs, if it is operational in nature. For that, it is running right now. But when it comes to technical and legal of the title, or to protect or recover the maintenance, until unless it's a registered body, you can't even go and file a complaint. So I think recently there is one order issued in the High Court also saying that please validate the registration of the association which is filing the complaint. If it is not registered, you cannot, because the NCDAC has already given a ruling saying that it has to be registered entity. If it is not registered, you can't file a complaint. So third option is Cooperative Societies Act 1959, right? So which is right now is the only available act in Karnataka where cooperative societies can be formed under 1959, and lot of associations, and Karnataka Home Buyers Forum itself is in connect with more than 50 plus associations who are already on 1972 or 1960, they are moving to 1959. The revolution is happening slowly, and then it is going to happen, right? There's no way, even the government, I can show you some of the government records that I have, where it is mentioning the association need to be registered in 1959. And the other act is Companies Act 2013, which is straightforward. But Company Act has got some limitation. If it is more than 200 flat owners, it cannot be a private limited company. It has to be a public listed company, right? So we have some limitation. So with those limitation, the best act which is available to make the association a corporated body, incorporate body, is Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act 1959. So that's the only available act for apartment more than 200 units. So what are the different government orders that we have? So left side, you can see in 2018, KSRA 1960, registrar has slashed away saying that you can't register. So what it is in Kannada, it says Sahakara Sangha Athava Companyagi Samstegalanu Nondadi Madabekagiruttade. Karnataka Sanghagala Nondani Adhiniyama 1960 ready Nondani Maduvudu Suktavalla. You cannot register apartment association under 1960, very clearly said. So this is what it is, the order in 2018. And in right side, what you see is what Mr. Commander sir was talking about, saying that, whether the cooperative society has got a jurisdiction to resolve the dispute under 1972. He clearly said he doesn't have a jurisdiction to resolve the issues which the apartment are claimed to be registered under 1972. Suppose if the association bylaw getting registered under cooperative society under 1959 Act, then this is not the statement that he would have given. He would have attended the complaint. So since the association claimed to be registered under 1972, he straight away rejected, saying, I can't take your complaint. So that means if there are any issues in the 1972 association, there is nobody who is governing the entity, which is going to be very disastrous, because in the interest of the society. Right. And also another RTI response, what you see in 2020 on the left side, documents pertaining to government notification declaring respective sub-registrar or a competent authority to register apartment association or owner association. The answer is no, because the sub-registrar are not mandated by the government of Karnataka to register any apartment owners association. Clearly, RTI response say that. And even the real estate regulatory authority, RERA, has responded in 2022, one of our RTI responses, saying that when we asked, give me the gazette notification or circular authorizing sub-registrar to register apartment owners association under 1972, the answer is no. We don't have any gazette notification in RERA. So these are the two entities we call it as, right? Some of the people who claim that it is registered under sub-registrar, the sub-registrar saying he doesn't have any gazette notification. RERA, who is regulating the real estate segment in Karnataka, he is also saying he doesn't have a gazette notification. These two RTI responses are good enough to understand that under 1972, sub-registrar are not authorized. And who is the person who is authorized? Then question will be raised, right? So we do have some RTI responses that we obtained in 2020 by one of our member of the Karnataka Homebuyer Forum, where I have highlighted the segment, right? So the bylaws of Apartment Owners Association Society has to be registered with the competent authority as per the jurisdictional register of cooperative society as per KV 1972 and rule of the even. The KV 72 says register of cooperative society, not sub-register office. So that means it has to be registered under cooperative society only. And on the right side, what you see in highlighted in yellow is a response given by the government of Karnataka, the chief secretary in the court of the law for a PIL called 511, filed by another organization in the court of law. And this is the response document that we obtained, which says authority, the competent authority in the case is Register of Cooperative Society under Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act. Nowhere in the act it mentioned that registration of deed of declaration in sub-register office under Registration Act would amount to registration of association. The association and societies are to be formed as per the prevailing laws that matters, right? So it is also mentioning that it is submitted that the formation of Apartment Owners Association based on the mere registration of deed of declaration, thereby claiming them to be a body corporate, juristic body, and opening a bank account, obtaining PAN card, etc., are not as per the spirit of the said act. Hence, respondent number 3 cannot be blamed for flourishing of unregistered association only on the basis of registered deed of declaration. So this is a written response given by the government of Karnataka in the PIL 511, right? So very clearly said, sub-register are not authorized and the association has to be registered under cooperative society to make it a body corporate. So there is no doubt about this. But what is the status of KOA? It's a PL that is being filed. The case is still going on, right? The verdict has to come out. But the question is, what are the different, stuff that is coming into picture, right? Karnataka Society will come into picture and all these things, Companies Act, Cooperative Societies Act, right? Then what do we do? The first step is, what do we do? There are multiple things that exist, right? So for taking an apartment handover, so since the Nico Homes is already, established apartment, phase 1 is already completed and phase 2 is already started moving in. So it is an important phase of every apartment association to look after what are the different things that apartment handover need to happen and what are the different steps and what to take handover. So very, very important question. So probably what I wanted to do is, I will walk through this. If any question arises, please feel free to stop me and ask questions, because I want this to be a more of an interactive session rather than only slide pack. If any questions arises in the previous slide, please ask. I will take a logical break here before I move into the handover step. So any questions till now on the slides? Any questions? I will be more than happy to answer, and then I will move on to this topic.
Yeah, Dhananjay, if you permit me.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dhananjay, you have spoken about most of the issues. I mean, most of the acts. So
Yeah.
there is one act which is also a KOFA.
Correct. COFA. Correct.
COFA. And
Yeah.
probably that is one interim act wherein it should have been done through the registrar of the cooperative societies, or the implementation would have been through that. And thereafter, I mean, let me just quickly
please go ahead, sir.
summarize it like this.
Yeah.
So the association, the builder should have created an association as soon as he sold the property under KOFA, and thereafter, once the builder completes the entire project, he should have then transferred it to the owners association under the KOA Act. If that is what is one of the things that had come up as the proper route, and probably RERA also alludes to that.
Okay, so let me answer to that. So what happened is, COFA is also there. So COFA is basically a regulatory act like RERA, right? So KOA, the purpose of KOA is to make the property transferable and heritable. So what does it mean is that once the apartment land has been fed under KOA, the property becomes transferable and heritable. You can sell, you can transfer. That's all the act is all about, right? And if you look at the implementation of the act, the competent authority which is mentioned as a registrar of cooperative society, right? So it never said registration of the association need to happen under KOA in sub-register office, right? So we need to split this into two topics. One, which is how to make a flat transferable and heritable. That is one. And the second is apartment association formation. We need to, let's not club these two aspects, because two are different aspects. Okay, so first one is KOA, you are absolutely correct. The association, once the land is fed into KOA, the property becomes transferable and heritable. But can association be formed under that? Nowhere in the act it says association can be formed. That is what the RTI responses, the government responses that I have run through it. It is not me who is saying this. It is the government. It is the RTI responses that we received from the sub-register office. They are the one who are saying association cannot be registered by a sub-register office. So about the COFA stuff, COFA clearly mentioned what are the different obligations of a developer, what are the different obligations of a home buyer, and it clearly says, I think you can refer to section 10 and 11 of COFA, it clearly says the association need to be formed under Karnataka Co-Operative Society Act or Companies Act, section 10 and 11 of COFA. Yeah, please go ahead, Swaminathan, sir.
Yeah, so the question I had is, so are you saying that if there was an association which had been registered at the sub-registrar's office, that registration is invalid, number one. Number two, you spoke of two acts. So one is an act dated 1959
Yeah.
and another Society Registration Act dated 1960.
Correct.
You are suggesting that the one which is dated 1959 is more applicable? So
See,
an older one is more applicable, huh?
Yeah, 1959 is the applicable act in Karnataka, which is Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act, to make an association body corporate. See, there are three also acts that exist, which right now, which has been utilized or used by many associations. One is Karnataka Societies Registration Act. It is not meant for apartment because in the 1960 Act, you are not supposed to collect the maintenance.
Oh, okay, got it.
So it is for NGOs. For example, since I run an NGO also, my NGO is registered under 1960, right? Associations who can register as an NGO, non-profit organization, they can register under 1960 Act.
So we can now go ahead and say register under the 1959 Act.
1959,
if you have not done,
yeah.
So if you're not registered yet, then you can go ahead and register under the Societies Act 1959.
So whether it is registered in different acts, right now the legality when it comes to make it a body corporate, right? Unless it is registered under Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act, your association cannot be a body corporate.
Okay.
Can I take this
So, but
question?
if you're already registered,
Registered under
if it is already registered with the sub-registrar, say 2-3 years ago, then would that be invalid? Is that what you're saying?
No, let me answer. When you say registered, is sub-registrar is giving, sir, 1 second. Is the sub-registrar is giving any registration certificate to you that association is registered and registered number of the association? Is sub-registrar giving that registration certificate?
So you're saying unless that's been done, it's not valid, is it?
Yes. See, you need to understand that any association, for example, I think we have a lot of people at a senior leadership level, in the companies, right? Any company, if you're registering, right, a registration certificate will be followed. Suppose if I want to register a company, right, you will go to register of companies and submit your application with, shares, capital, etc.
With the ROC, correct.
Whatever, right? So, and then you get a registration certificate which says what is the name of the
incorporation. Yes, because of certificate of incorporation, correct.
Incorporation,
yes,
correct. So,
I had that.
Yeah, similarly, whether the sub-register has given you or whoever is claiming that 1972 Act, it is registered in sub-register office, anybody given you registration certificate of that sort?
Okay, so I have to check, sir. I mean, I'm not, because I wasn't.
I can 100%, I can 100% or 200% tell you there is no registration certificate exists across Karnataka. If anybody can show me, I can challenge them.
Okay,
No,
all right, okay.
No,
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
No, what the sub-registrar has done is he registered the DOD.
Yes.
Not so much the association. It is just to take care of our common facilities and properties and desks and chairs. So the builder was interested in just registering on somebody's name. For that, we have formed framed bylaws and we put the names and all those things. Because it has to be registered to another person, right? So that's how we came to it. But my question
I
is,
think there's nothing wrong in that, sir, because I will tell you what is happening. Okay. See, if you look at the apartment culture, which started, 2 decades back, right? So nobody is aware of what the laws of the land are, right? And most of the apartment, even today, 70% of them are still running under 1960. I'm not talking about Nico homes where there are thousands of apartments. I'm talking about 10, 15 flats or 20 flats, 30 flats. Even today, they're running on case area association even today. Because one reason is awareness. Second reason is the challenge that exists in cooperative society also. Because you need 20 people to register a cooperative society. Big apartment like Nico Homes can do that. But whereas 10, 15 apartments, where do they do that? So that's why the irregularity that exists. But whose responsibility is to make sure that we go in the right direction to protect our land. See, why builders are not interested to form a cooperative society, we need to understand, right? So the land transfer, there are 2 khata that exist, okay? So once any apartment that get constructed, right, you will have a survey numbers, correct? there will be multiple survey numbers combined together, and the builder will approach the BBMP saying that I will convert our BDA, saying that I'm going to construct an apartment here. And then what they do is they do a conversion. If it is an agriculture land, they will convert into non-agriculture purpose and then get a conversion certificate and then create a khata, which is land khata. There will be land khata that will be created. And then they will start, get the commencement certificate and then get the plan approval done. And then as per the FAR of the floor area ratio of the apartment, they will start constructing the apartment and start selling it, right? And the land khata belongs to whose name? Please go and check in BBMP, the khata where the apartment is constructed. If we extract the khata certificate of the land, khata extract of the land, you will see the builder name or the previous landowner's name, the period. So once the land is been converted and the flat started selling, right, you will have some undivided share of interest or undivided share of land in the sale deed. Say around 200 square feet or 300 square feet has been mentioned in the sale deed, right? If the 200 square feet the builder has sold to you, anywhere in the land khata, your name is coming. Anybody gone ahead and check the revenue record? When you extract the khata of a land, your name is coming in the khata extract. You will not find your name. Whose name that exists? It is a builder name or a previous landowner name if it is a JD property.
Yeah.
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 So that is why the builders are not interested to transfer the land title, because the moment you form a cooperative society, right, you will see the reaction from the builder. See why builders are so worried or builders are not interested to form a cooperative society. You need to understand. Don't think like a builder. If anybody of you of building background or a builder's background, please don't think like a builder. Please think like a home buyer, right? If the builder is not supporting you to form a cooperative society, you need to ask why. The question of why should come into everybody's mind, saying that why builder is creating so much of hangama for creating a cooperative society. You just shoot out an email to your builder, Nico Homes or Bharati, saying that the project is almost complete now with respect to phase 1. We want to form a cooperative society and please enable the cooperative society formation. See the reaction, right? So I will tell you why. Because khata certificate and khata extract mentions their name. Technically, legally, the land owners are they. I think Prashant Raj has a question. Go ahead, sir.
So out of all the 3 acts, so the 1959 is the one that is the most relevant act.
Most relevant act. Yes.
Most relevant.
Yes.
So at this point, we have an association.
Yeah.
And that is, I think it is registered under 1972.
Correct.
Yes, right. So should we go ahead and register this under 1959 Act to make it more relevant before the handover happens? Is that this?
Exactly. I will walk you through what is the handover process later. So then you will understand why you need a registered association.
I understood that. No, I think that's the first step. The second question I had is, you said if you go ask the builder, they would be not for the formation of a cooperative society.
Yes.
Should a builder be involved in this, or it is the owners that has to form? Is there
not required? Builder don't need to be involved, but it's the responsibility of the builder to enable the formation of a society as per the RERA Act.
But now the association is already enabled by the builder in the case of NHOA, right? We already have an association. The first election was conducted by Bharatiya City. They facilitated that.
But frankly, Prashant Rao, any association which doesn't have a registration certificate.
No, I understood that. I'm not saying the validity of
election. See, who has authorized? First of all, tell me, sir.
No, my question is this. No, I don't want to get into the legality, Mr. Dhananjay. My question is, at this point, if you want to register under 1959, is that should be initiated by the builder, or since we all owners have come together under one association, which is not most relevant, can we go ahead and form?
Yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and register cooperative society without any problem. And we are dealing with one of the other builder where the builders wanted to register a cooperative society, and the expenses, what they said is, you go ahead and get the cooperative society done, and I will take care of the expenses part. So those kind of builders also we have. We are in connect with some of those, the so-called good builders. They wanted to hand over and then go.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So
I just have a
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Dhananjay, sir. Given that the whole thing is in a very infancy and immature state, how helpful lawyers can be in this whole thing,
Okay.
because a lot of people are very fascinated with going to lawyers, it is safe, it's regarded as a safe thing. But when we went to lawyers, most of the lawyers were not interested, especially big corporate lawyers. But only some people are saying, oh, yeah, I'll do this thing, I'll do that thing, and I'll do this thing. But most of the time, the results of what they could produce so far has been very, 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 I don't know, meager to nothing. Their understanding is even poorer than what you are explaining, in my opinion. So how would you advise, how much faith and trust?
You are absolutely right, sir. Unfortunately, our advocates community need to be educated more on this. In fact, we are also facing the same challenges. Only few limited advocates have this knowledge, and we are trying to educate the advocates also through our Karnataka Homebuyers Forum. We are in connect with a few advocates who can get the cooperative society done in a technically and legally correct manner. And we are suggesting there, and there is one more person by name Mr. Anil Kalgi, who is also another activist like us, and who is also enabling some of the cooperative society formation. Right, so there is a cost involved in registering a cooperative society, because cooperative society guidelines need to be followed, and that's where some builders are coming forward and saying that we will bear the cost. The reason I said is enabled by the builder is it's the responsibility of the builder, because RERA Act says, RERA Act section 17 clearly mentions the builder has to enable this formation of a society and then hand over and get out of the project, right? So that's what RERA says. So that's why, some of the expenses can be reimbursed by the builder, because I will tell you where the resistance will come. If it is the apartment is having only a residential in nature, right? And the undivided share, I will walk you through how to calculate the undivided share in your project, right? So if it is in line with what the total project land, then no issues will come into picture. Builder will say tata bye bye and then go. But if the project land is 10 acres and the undivided share given to each one of you combined together becomes, say, around 5-6 acres, and then another 4 acres left with the builder, that is where he will create a problem. Because the conveyance of the title, or through some UDS that happened through registration, right? There is already a legal binding on him, right? Saying that he already sold around 6 acres. But what happened to the rest of the 4 acres? So if you observe two important, development that happened in India in last 1 year. One is Twin Tower, that demolition happened in Noida, right? So do you guys know what is the reason for that? So there is a additional FSI leftover. So what we call it as an FSI or FR, right? So once the builder construct an apartment, there is some amount of square feet of land was left over, which was on the normal, after you leave out your apartment building, right? The park area and some places, there is leftover land. In that leftover land, the builder was trying to construct 2 more towers. And then that where in that process, they have not taken approval of the majority of the flat owners that already purchased the flat. As per RERA, approval has to be taken. So that is where they hook on to that and then litigated, and then the 2 towers got demolished. And another important is last month in January, there is a Madras High Court order which clearly says once the land is shown as a project land in an apartment, the entire land parcel belongs to flat owners. And the High Court also given a direction how to calculate the land share for each one. And they clearly meant the remaining leftover FSI transfer to association. How land transfer can happen to association if you don't have a body corporate? See, we are, what exactly, Ramesh sir, and people who are asking questions, what we are missing out is important aspect is land, right? We are juggling around too much about the operation issues, but we are not looking at the legality of a land. If you will understand the land khata, just extract land khata and land certificate, khata certificate. You will know who owns the land.
Association meeting.
Right? So it is very important. Please go ahead and extract the land certificate, khata certificate and khata extract. You will find your landowner or a builder name that in the land record. So how do you ensure that your sale deed, which mentions around 200 or 300 square feet, is in your name? You don't have any legality to ask in the future. But
Okay, good.
through sale deed, you can go to the court of law. I think we have some journalist background editors also. We can go to the court of law. But why we should encourage such situation where we have to fight during the demolition time?
Dhananjay, I want to highlight one
Please
particular
go
issue.
ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, Dhananjay has emphatically been saying that land is a major issue and we need to have land in our conveyance to our association. Your neighbor Shobha City, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I think Shobha City is somewhere near, close by to your complex.
Yeah,
am I right?
Just adjacent.
Right.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, I am very emphatically telling you, Shobha City, in spite of having sold apartments, villas, whatever it consists in the Shobha City, did manage to mortgage the land parcel to a bank and avail loan. Right? This particular document and this particular information is a part of the submission of the public interest litigation 511 of 2021, which is now in the court. Right? Now, how did that happen? If a builder or a promoter has sold apartments to individual apartment owners and also sold undivided interest or share in that particular land, how can he sell that land or mortgage that land? Right? Now, this is where the whole issue comes.
Yeah. Very good point, sir. Very good point.
Because what has happened is that since this particular transaction of the sale of undivided share of land to individual owners does not get recorded in the land records, which is maintained by the government or the sub-registrar, right? What happens is, visualize what has happened is, Shobha goes to the a bank, which is, banks are very keen on lending money because that is where they make their money. They lend, they take deposits from you and me, pay pittance as interest, and then they lend that money to people who want to borrow and earn interest and then give you this. So banks are very keen to lend money, and if a particular party goes to the bank with the sale deed, that is the title that they are holding, saying that it's a freehold land, and then also go to the same bank and say that this is the encumbrance certificate, where there is no lien shown on that encumbrance certificate. So the bank looks at it and says, yes, this land is freehold and there are no lien on this property, value the property and loan the money. Now, if Shobha does not pay that money back to the bank has every right to claim that property. Now, imagine a situation where the land is mortgaged to a bank and the bank is claiming that now that the property is mortgaged to us, now we own the property and you have an apartment built on top of that which belongs to you and me. This is happened. I am not imagining or making it. It is there in the court along with the 511 writ petition, which is shown. The reason why what Dhananjay read about some extracts of the submission which the state has made is that the petitioner has quoted and told the court that because the sub-registrar is registering the deed of declaration and which gets registered in the documents of sub-registrar's office, what all irregularities take place and how people are made to believe that conveyance has taken place, whereas actually it has not happened. And this is an example of what all can happen. So it is lying in the court. Of course, the case is still going on and decision yet to come. I wanted to highlight this because I'm sure you understand that, this kind of a thing, this case of Shobha having done with Shobha City is what has come to the knowledge of the petitioners. I am 100% certain if you go digging deeper into the system, you will find that many more such instances have taken place, which have not come to notice yet.
Yeah, I think another example, sir, I wanted to quote, even Mantri Serenity, we are facing the same challenges. In 2010 and 12, 2010 is the joint development agreement between ISKCON and the Mantri developers, right? And after that, in 2011 onwards, they started executing the agreements for sale, and 14-15 onwards, sale deeds and all. And they have mortgaged the entire land to 3 people. One is Punjab National Bank initially, and then after that Pyramid, and after that SBI Capital. So there are 2 mortgages that happened even after the sale deed has been executed in the name of the home buyers, right? So there is a lot of irregularities with respect to land, because there is no, entry, or there is no name that gets recorded in the revenue records when you extract the Khata certificate or Khata extract. Very, very simple. I think most of the real estate agents or real estate sector will say, give me the Khata of your flat. Have you ever thought about getting a Khata of a land where the apartment is constructed? Nowhere you heard about land Khata. That is where our Karnataka Home Buyers Forum did the research, extensive research on multiple projects and multiple irregularities, and then brought up this awareness saying that whenever you purchase any flat, it is not just a flat Khata, you need to get a land Khata where the apartment is standing. And if your name is not reflecting in your land Khata extract, that means you don't have a footprint on the land. So it's a huge topic, sir, because, as you rightly, I think somebody was rightly mentioning, Ramesh, sir, about our advocates need to be educated, which is absolutely correct. Majority of the advocates, they don't, even today, just take the papers, they will say Khata of a flat, give me the Khata certificate or Khata extract, right? But they never say land Khata. This is where the irregularities are, and it's, as you know, the society need to be evolved. It will get evolved. So that's where Karnataka Home Buyers Forum is trying to conduct these kind of sessions, and then bringing awareness, and then take the decision. And we will leave it to the decision of your society, because you are the one who are going to own the property. I think Bhargav has got some question, and Sham has.
But sir, this getting the land Khata as an individual name, is it feasible? And
that is exactly, yeah, it is not feasible technically, and BBMP is not doing it. That is where we need a cooperative society where the land get transferred. See, this is exactly what you point, Sham sir, that
and then and then later, then cooperative society can issue the certificate.
Care certificate
in the name of individual owner.
For example, you have 300 square feet of stuff, right? You will get a 300 square feet of share certificate in your name, and then that will materialize.
Actually, such practice followed in Maharashtra.
Exactly.
Yeah. I used to have a flat, and I got a certificate as well.
Exactly. You are absolutely right, sir. And Maharashtra is a pioneer in this area, and they adopted the cooperative society model very, very, well in advance. And Karnataka, since, the apartment culture itself is late, and that's where the land reforms or the guidelines yet to come out. And there are a lot of organizations who are misguiding on this land. And many, in the 10 years back, they are pushing for society rather than cooperative society. I have a document where the builder submitted saying that he will form a cooperative society, but he formed a society. Then, see, frankly speaking, we are also not aware of these laws in the past until we dig down and then get into the subject, right? And awareness is required. I think, as somebody was mentioning, it is not mature. Yes, absolutely, it is not mature. But, and if we keep saying that it is not mature and we will take a step later, then we will miss the boat, right? And then it's anyway decision of individual association how they want to operate and how they want to protect their interest. But protection is required, because we create properties, we invest our hard earning so that it becomes property for us and for our next generation, not for landowners and not for builders next generation.
Dhananjay, I would like to dwell upon a point.
1 second. Yeah, probably Bhargav has a question. Please go ahead, Bhargav.
Yeah, this is, I just want a clarification. So the DOT is registered under KOA.
Correct.
And association is registered.
Association has to be registered under Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act 1959. Yeah. See, the KOA, the purpose itself is to make the property transferable and heritable. That's it.
Yeah, let me finish. So,
yeah, please.
Association is registered under Karnataka Co-Operative Society, and DOT is
Yeah, DOD is with DOD is registered in sub-register office.
And
It is a document.
Okay. And the land transfer will be done by BBMP.
No. Land transfer will be done by the builder to the association in sub-register office, like any other, the way you purchase 30/40 site, right? Same way it happens in the name of the association. The parties are the person who transfer the land is the builder, and the person who takes the land is the association. And what happens to the members of the association? Members of the association will get a share certificate, as one of your Shams was saying, get a share certificate equivalent to undivided share of interest in the land. So it's as good as you are protecting your, under the umbrella of the society. Instead of the fundamental solution is, instead of seeing your builder name or a landowner name, we want to see the association name in the records. Hello? I think your voice is a little breaking, Bhargav sir.
Register the land on, this builder has to register the land on the association name, on the registered association name.
On the registered association name, yes. No, frankly speaking, if the builder can get the association name in land record, doesn't matter which association, but it cannot happen. It cannot happen.
Okay, thank you.
And also I will tell you, look at the smaller segments, for example, 10-15 flats are there. You can't form a cooperative society, right? What is the solution to them, right? The government has to come back with the policy of, some different solution that exists, if at all, if they want to give land rights to each one of them, right? And I think you must be aware of UPOR project, Urban Property Rights Project, right? UPOR. Even there, the flat, is not considered as a property, and they're not mentioning and linking back to the land where the apartment is constructed. So there is a big lobby that is happening in the real estate with respect to apartment land is concerned. So I don't need to quote why, what, everybody understands that. So only thing is, just go to the BBMP and extract whatever it call it as a land khata or a land certificate, land khata certificate of your project, which is in Schedule A. Schedule A will mention so and so acres of land, right? Please ask for khata extract of that particular land, not the flat. So you will realize your name exists or doesn't exist. Binu, you have some question?
No, we'll move to the next handover, because it's already 5:20.
Oh, sorry. I think Binu has raised a hand. Binu, you have something to say? Before we move on. Okay. Commander sir, I think you wanted to say something before we move to the next section.
I'll keep it very short. I did hear somebody mentioning that we are registered under Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72, and do we need to migrate to some other particular 59 Cooperative Society Act. See, this is where I would put it this way. For all those gentlemen who feel that they are already registered under 72 Act, right? This is a misnomer, right? You have an association. Please understand the difference between having an association and having a registered legal association. There are the two different things, right? All associations which claim to be under Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72, right? There is an association, but not a legal entity. Those associations are not legal entities, they are tax entities. They are called as what is known in tax entity are called as association of persons, right? Forming an association is a fundamental right. Any two people, when the two persons can form an association, come to some kind of a common objective, make a memorandum of understanding saying that we have formed an association consisting of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then this is our objective. And write out a memorandum of understanding, make a bylaw within that saying that this is what we are going to follow. Take this document, go to your jurisdictional sub-registrar where you're located. He will register that as a document, right? With that document, you can apply for a PAN card, you will get a PAN card. And with a PAN card, you can open a bank account and do your transactions, whatever transaction that you want to do.
But you can't own a land.
You not only cannot own a land, neither can you own land, neither can you do contracts. That means you cannot sign a contract. Neither can you go to court and be sued, or you can sue.
Yeah, I think very good point. Very good point, sir.
Please understand one thing. Please understand, gentlemen, one thing. In our country, right, I would put it this way, that if you have a license to drive a two-wheeler, you are holding a license, but only to drive a two-wheeler. Can you drive a car? No. Can you drive a truck? No. But I cannot turn on tell you that you are not holding a license. So an association of persons can do some kind of a transactions, but nothing beyond that. If you have an association which is already existing in your community, like the one I have here, right? They are doing maintenance for last 25 years time. And if I have a grievance against the association, I cannot file a suit against the association by its name. I can only file a suit against the office bearer by his name, XYZ. Right? And unless I go and make a complaint, nobody is going to come and find out whether what is going on is right or wrong. Like I would say that if there is theft in your house, you have to go and complain. The police is not going to come and find out. So the same logic goes here too. So all the associations which claim to be under 72 Act are functioning because those of us who are a part of that are not complaining. So nobody is going to come and find out. Right? Have I made myself clear? If you have a doubt, call me.
No,
it's very clear, sir. I think let's move on to the next topic. Yeah, we'll go to the next topic. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, Commander sir is absolutely right. Our understanding is also exactly the same thing. We also formed only AOA.
Correct.
We took control of our common property, that's all it is, So when it comes to RWA, Welfare Association and all those legality, there is no clarity, it kept saying, see, we dealt with this BAF. They gave us exactly what you are telling us today. They told us it is in a limbo, it's confusion.
No, it is not.
Go ahead and file it, but they will take the application and they will not do anything because they don't have anything from the government. So, right, I think we are all on the same page.
Yeah, we are all on the same page, sir. I think that's what I said. I don't want to name any organization, but everybody is trying to help flat owners. But what is important is we need to choose the right act to protect our flats and our land. See, and make the body corporate. That's all, right? So ultimately, Nico Homes, landowners or flat owners are going to enjoy the property. And why builders are not interested is another aspect I will tell you, because commercial structure also will come into picture. They don't want to, share the details. And I will tell you one important aspect about land share. You just to do a mathematical calculation in your project, you will find out how much cheating must have happened in your project. Can we move to the next section?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a very good discussion. I think we, frankly speaking, sir, I don't mind extending the time, and then I like and love the discussion mode of, knowledge sharing. And that's the name of the NGO that I started also. It's called Discussion Class Association, which is mainly promoting peer learning. Okay, so what is apartment handover, right? So the moment we come across to a question of apartment handover, the question arises is what, when we should do, right? So very important aspects, I will come to what to be done in the next slide. But the first question is when the apartment handover can happen. The RERA Act, which is, prevailing and then which is protecting the home buyers' rights, clearly says under section 17 of 1 and 2, right? And when it has to be done, the promoter shall execute a registered conveyance deed in favor of allottees along with the undivided proportionate title in the common areas to the association of allottees. Very clear. This has to happen as per section 17 first. And the second one is after obtaining the occupancy certificate and handing over physical possession to allottees in terms of subsection 1. Please understand subsection 1 is 17.1, where is saying about transfer of transfer of title into the common areas to association, right? And it shall be the responsibility of the promoter to hand over the necessary documents and plans, including common areas, to association of the allottees or the competent authority. Very, very clear when the project has to be completed. Look at the project plan and then find out the project need to be completed and obtained occupancy certificate, and then ask for a handover. This is the first place, right? And then for that, for common area as stuff, until unless you have a registered association, you can't take handover. So now I will come what to take handover. When we understand, right, you should have a project should be completed. But what are the things that I need to take a handover? I just try to summarize with the research and the knowledge that we gained through mother deeds and title deeds. Okay. So these are the important documents from where the land has been conveyed from whom to whom and all, right? All those things, mother deeds and title deeds, need to be given. To whom it has to be given? The question is whom? It has to be given to a association. If association is not registered, can the builder can give this mother deed and title deed? He will say, boss, how can I give it to you without being a registered body, right? So it cannot happen if you don't have a registered body, right? And the second one is conveyance deed from promoter to association of allottees as per section 17 of REAR Act. This is one of the important step in a handover, right? How a promoter can execute a conveyance deed if the association is not registered. So second also not possible if you don't have a registered association. So what next? Third item is approved project plan from the competent authority. That's so important thing that you need to take. But this also he will say, boss, you don't have a registered association, why I should give a project plan to you, right? That also cannot happen. Commencement certificate, occupancy certificate, and project completion certificate from the competent authority, land conversion documents. These things also same thing applicable. And khata, land khata certificate and land khata extract for common areas, along with land encumbrance certificate to ensure the project land khata reflect the association of allottee's name, and encumbrance certificate on the land khata reflects all flat owners' name. You are getting this point, very, very important aspects. If land khata is in the builder's name, once the conveyance deed executed, something similar to how you executed sale deed, right? Same way conveyance deed also get executed, but conveyance deed will have a list of all the flat owners, right? So land khata and extract should reflect the association name. And if you take the EC of this particular thing, you should get all flat owners' name, legal flat owners' name on the EC of the land records. This is very, very important. And under Kaveri 2, it is technically right now possible. In last couple of years back, there are technical glitches, and we work with some of the for connects in the department. And then now, if you take a land EC, you will get all the transactions. Okay. But only thing is your name, will appear, but the khata will not reflect your association name. So that need to happen first. And NOC from all the government departments mentioned in OCCC, especially BWSSB, Fire Department, BESCOM, Airport Authority, KC, PCB, which is State Pollution Control Board, environmental clearances. So these are the important department approvals which need to be in place. Because I think Commander Sir was mentioning about Shobha City, right? The main reason why Shobha City OC got cancelled, 2000 flat owners got into issues, is because the fire NOC given was a fake fire NOC. Later, the BBMP has ordered for investigation, internal investigation, for finding out fake OCs itself, right? So that is a situation the BBMP is currently in. That's why please ensure to collect the originals of these documents and as part of your handover. Next is insurance done on the title building to be transferred. So insurance must have done for the project, right? Building and all, building insurance and the project insurance would have been done. That also need to be transferred in the name of the association. And the approvals for the lifts will be given by some department called electrical inspector. It's called Department of Electrical Inspector, right? So they have to give a lift approval. This has to be in place. Please ensure that you have this. And usually they give for 5 years or 10 years depending on the project, and then that approval has to need to be in place. And the BESCOM and BWC amount paid receipt, very important, because in some of the builders that we are dealing with, So they are not paid the BWSSB amount that is being collected from the home buyers. There are some litigations in some of the builders case also, right? So please ask for amount being paid to these departments, very important departments, and the land conversion money paid repeats whenever it is agriculture to non-agriculture, right? I think there's some question. Okay, so land conversion money paid receipt. While converting a land, the amount to be paid. So some of the builders would not have paid, but usually while issuing a OC, they will ensure that the conversion is being done and everything. But please ask for these documents in your list. And then STP commissioned reports. Right?
Sorry to interrupt. So here is the question, and the project has not get the OC yet. We still have a partial
OC yet. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we still have a partial OC.
Okay.
The second question is about the most of the NOCs and either expired or either not valid. It's been long times, and now association picture. So like we are driving, this fire NOC, other things now association is driving.
Correct.
So the document verification and which document is valid, which document are not valid. I believe that's a crucial task. The body has to take care.
Correct.
Right. But what is the complication in case we are getting a partial OC and builder says this is the entire project has to be completed, then only we can provide the full OC.
No, see, that's where I said, right, whenever there is a project that is in a phased manner, right? So right now, there is no, in the RERA Act, it doesn't recognize a partial OC at all. It just say occupancy certificate. There is no partial occupancy certificate that exists in RERA. But unfortunately, when the RERA rules have been created by the government of Karnataka, they introduced the concept of partial OC, and the partial OC is been accepted in the court also in some cases, saying that yes, home buyers can occupy the flat with the partial occupancy certificate. So I don't want to comment on a court decision. There are some decisions that came like that. So let us accept as is. Partial occupancy certificate for each building is right now accepted in Karnataka state unless the rules of the RERA gets changed, and that's a mammoth of game that we are dealing with. So, but as of today, the individual partial OC is been accepted. But only thing is you should get a occupancy certificate for the entire project, because when the OC is being issued, they will ensure that the project is being completed as per the plan, not only of your tower, the entire project plan, right? So that need to be in place. Unless that are in place, taking a handover itself is a big pain. And it is going to be, problematic for each one of the home buyers, because they may always say that, okay, this has not been completed and stuff like that, right? So even we need to look at your legal documents also in terms of whether the land bifurcation has happened for phase 1, whether the land bifurcation has happened for phase 2, right? How it is going to be structured, because you are an integrated, township kind of project, right? So whether that bifurcation has happened at a land level, so those are the things that we need to look at it and strategically with the definitely good help of advocate and also third-party consultant. There are a lot of third-party consultant that exist in terms of these things. Probably we'll have to engage them also.
Yeah, Dhananjay, just quickly, I agree with you exactly as to what you said, because the 100-acre property that we are talking about, Bhartiya City, is an integrated project.
Integrated project, yes.
And the land bifurcation definitely has happened. But again, furthermore, there is sales which are happening with respect to the land itself for the software development. So those we do not know whether these have been incorporated or not. The Nico Homes is a 16-acre property.
16-acre property.
Yeah, and that out of the 100-acre property, and all the buildings there have been completed, and the OC for each of the tower has been obtained.
Correct.
Exactly. But it will be classified as partial as per the BBMP.
Exactly. So that's why, whenever there is an integrated project, there's always little, ambiguity over the overall land stuff. That's where, we need to engage the right advocates, whether the bifurcation has happened. And this 16-acre that you mentioned, that is only for phase 1 or phase 2?
No, the 16-acre is conveyed to the Nico Homes 1. That is the name for the.
That is the name for the phase 1, Nico Home 1.
No, there are different phases, but The 16 acre is for Nico Homes.
Nico Home 1. Okay. So
which
probably,
is separate parcel.
Yeah, exactly. So it requires a lot of thought process to be built in, because this 16 acres should be divided or whatever based on the undivided shares, etc., right, within the owners of the particular parcels, right? And how the common area, for example, access to the mall and then common road that connects to these spaces, all those things will have come under a different category that you may not own it. That's a common across all the phases of the larger project, right? But the land share will be within that 16 acres only. So that we'll have to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that they have very clearly mentioned and conveyed. In fact, actually, there was one small little complex, which the builder has also said that he'll relinquish it in the name of the owners association. I mean, I understand exactly that the registration of the owners association is an issue. That is the thing. But otherwise, from the builder's perspective, they have been much more fairer compared to the thing that is there. One more quick question that I have is one of the important criteria that the builder always mentions in the sale deed or the deed of declaration is that the maintenance association, till the actual handover happens or the association takes charge, is under the builder. Now, what has happened is that in our case, the association which is formed, again unregistered, let us call it.
Whatever. Yeah, it's operational.
And we removed the builder's facilities manager. We removed him from the society by vote of majority. So what it means is that the STPs, the water treatment plants, etc., were managed by this other facility manager without the transfer of different things. Now, there will be a situation which I foresee that he may say that was not my ownership or responsibility. So I'm trying to, what I'm trying
to—
Is the
5 years is over after the STP was commissioned?
That's another interesting thing. 5 years is completed for one phase of Nico Homes also. So the Nico Homes has got 2 STPs. One STP is definitely 5 years.
And that STP is dedicated to Nico Home 1 or
it is
common across the entire?
Facility? So Nico Home 1 has 10 towers. 10 towers are split into to manage the load. They are split into the STP1 and STP2. The STP1 typically was a phase which had about 5 towers or 6 towers. And they have completed at least 2017 was the handover. I mean, the possession that we all got. Today we are at 2023. Technically, yes.
Yes. Okay. So usually what happens now, the STP need to be commissioned and managed by builder for 5 years. After that, association need to take over.
Just to clarify, because the handover was done in a phase wise, like Srinivas says, it's a 10 tower. So maybe the 3 tower was done in 2017, then the rest 2 towers done in 2018, then the next tower done after 6 months. So it's in phase wise, right? And so and based upon the amenities also done in the phase wise.
Yeah. See, usually the way we calculate or the industry calculates is that from the date of completion, right? So 5 years the builder need to maintain. If the goes in a phased manner, then whenever they get a completion certificate or occupancy certificate, right? So from there 5 years they need to maintain. So in fact, frankly speaking, as per the NCDRC ruling that came in 2022 January, right? Until unless the builder gets occupancy certificate, the maintenance of the entire facility also to be done by the builder, not by the association. So it doesn't talk about a partial occupancy. If you read the NCDRC order, it clearly said, until unless the builder gets the occupancy certificate, the builder has to maintain even if people start living in with the paper possession letter. So that is the ruling, but unfortunately, most of the home buyers are not aware of this and they start living in and with a good faith, right? I'm consuming water, I'm consuming electricity, let's pay the maintenance. With that good faith of the home buyers, we are supporting builders in one or the other way. But anyway, law of the land is different, and then practically what is happening is a little different.
So my question was
again, this 5-year thing, given that we had almost 3 years of pandemic in between, where people could not even come out of the houses, we were caught in that thing as well,
No, it is extended. No, RERA also extended for 1.5 years, right? For all the delays that came in the pandemic period, 1.5 period got extended, and even that is applicable to this also.
So the 5 years we are saying 600
days. We should ask for it. We should, unless we ask, nobody will give.
I have one question.
We want to know the precedents, what is the precedent, what is the law support we have it. So
the question is, until unless we register an association, we cannot go and file anywhere complaint. You can't file any complaints.
We understand. See, there are things that we can get it done through legal only. There are things that we can get it done through moral leadership also.
Moral leadership we can ask, right? So there's no question, there's no reason why we should not ask. That everybody suffered in COVID, and then why don't you extend the support for the association for some more time to manage?
That's correct.
Dhananjay, my question was very specific with respect to the builder's responsibility, where he said in the DOD as well as in the sale deed that the builder's company would be responsible. Now we have removed them from this one, and he did not interfere in this whole 2 years that we have.
He will be happy, no? Because
he is happy. But now
he is happy.
Now we have a situation wherein we have to, the 2 years, there has been a vacuum in doing this process of talking. There is a complete, let me put it this way, no interaction between the builder and the association members. So 2 years, there has been an issue. And now we are in a different situation wherein how do we handle, apart from all these things, the builder negotiation?
No, I think we should create a team for sure. See, there is always a strategy that works, right? There are a set of people that you need to identify who will have a good relationship with the builder and get some of the work done. See, not everything will go through legally, right? So there are certain things that has to go through a legal process, and there are certain things that can be worked out amicably in terms of getting the work done for the society, right? So you need to create a set of those teams internally, to one team to talk to builder to get some of those things done, and then parallelly start working on creating a legal association so that you can protect your interest, right? And then start looking into some of those operational aspects as well, right? So we have to create some different groups to look into that. And I'm sure you don't have corpus money lying with the builder and not transferred to association. Those issues also will pop up in some of the builder case.
In our case also, we are in the same situation.
Oh, okay. Corpus money, because it's a huge money, right? 3 lakh or 4 lakh rupee would have been collected by the builder from each flat owner. And then that will amount to almost 100 crores money, right? And then the moment you ask that money, they will say, okay, you create a registered association, then I will transfer. If you ask at one shot, right? So in some cases, I have seen they will start giving that money to this unregistered association, and then they will bind, saying that, okay, some money is already been started coming in, and then you operate, like this only, and don't get into registered association. So those dramas also happening in few associations.
I just wanted, if the builder is ready to transfer the land share to the association, which is not registered.
It cannot happen in sub-register office. Please go and check in sub-register office. The moment you say, I have to register an association, a land in the name of the association, the first thing they will ask is, give me the registration certificate. So it cannot be just like that.
And one more thing is about this mother deed is about nearly around 100 to 125 acres. I don't think they will be able to share that because it's only part of that.
No, when I say mother deed, right? So usually during the land conversion, they would have segregated this Nico home land into different kata. Right? So when I say mother deed, if it is belong to everyone, definitely you are not the only owner, no? So you should ask for this, when you say mother deed, when the kata bifurcation has happened, right? Ask for these 19 acres and then a certified copy of the mother deed where it mentions 100-acre project. should know that you are part of a larger integrated system, right? So first thing is protection of 16 acres. And then larger interest is your stake on the larger utilization of the properties. You may not have the ownership, but you will have a utilization rights over the other spaces also, right?
No, given that thing, I think that is, I would say, second priority than the first priority.
Yeah, first one is
first priority is what the corpus fund and all those things. What a negotiation can bring in, that should be brought in first priority. The second priority is all these, the legally, catch-22 kind of things, that will take some time. And also, as long as builder is cooperating, we can take it as a second priority, third priority.
I would
have to come and chase 2,400 owners away. He wouldn't have to.
Ramesh sir, sorry. I give first priority to make an association legally entity so that your corpus money stays with an association, which is legally bounding. See, because today, frankly speaking, we are working with the two major banks, SBI and HDFC, to ensure that they bring a policy change. Without registration certificate, all accounts will be cancelled. We are working with the CEOs of these two companies so that without registration certificate, accounts should not be opened. But there are irregularities. I think even your association don't have a registration certificate, but you have a bank account open because it's they opened it, right? If the policy change happens in the near future, everybody will be under soup. Right, so that's where before you take a corpus money, which is a large chunk of money, right? Please get the association, legal entities is questioned.
That's correct.
Right, so having a registered association is very, very important because tomorrow, if something happens in the lift, somebody dies, right, and you can't even file a complaint. A lift company will escape saying that, okay, the contract between the association and us is not legally binding because it's not a registered association. Because you don't have a contractual rights to sign on behalf of the association. Because usually if you are an authorized person like a secretary or a president, right, your photo with your name and the role will be signed by the Register of Cooperative Society or Register of Society, whoever it is in case of NGO, right? Saying that he is authorized to represent the people of association. Otherwise, calling myself as a secretary, myself as a president, without having registration certificate and certified by the government has no value.
Agreed.
Right, so that's where we should have a first association, which is registered entity, then corpus money, and talking to all these things. And tomorrow, for example, BESCOM and BWSSB need to be transferred in your name, in your association name. It cannot happen unless you have a registered body. And the BWSSB connection, and then Kaveri Water, BESCOM, everything will continue to be with the same guys. Why every asset should be with the builder? Why a land should be with the builder? Right? So these are the legal implications. This is the reason why the builders will not be interested, and some builders are interested in transferring because they want to get out of this, because builders' responsibility is not to manage. Builders' responsibility is to construct, sell, make money, and move on to next project. Right, and some of the builders are getting heated up in this management aspects, and majority of them now moving into this handing over to association and getting out of it. Because the laws are becoming tighter and tighter. Okay, and the 14th point is transfer of maintenance deposits, club membership fees, and the corpus fund to association account if collected by the builder. That's another thing that we need to ensure. And another is all vendor contracts, right? Security contract or maintenance contract, all the renewal contracts should happen in the name of the association. And then physical asset inventory in the apartments and take handover of all validating with the third party, right? So it's important, especially STP and other stuff, right? Please get a STP auditing done by STT, auditors, or there will be a lot of third party consultants like Nemmadi and all, right? So a lot of people are in the market who are going to come and audit and give a detailed technical report before you take handover. Very, very important thing. And flat owners details with contact details is also important, because you will see that a lot of people who don't even know in in your Telegram group or I think MyGate or whatever the software they use, no, you don't even know who are they, right? So flat owners details collection is very important. And then if there is any software that is being used, take the control of it, and the audited financial reports of the project of the that promoter submitted to RERA, right? So you need to collect that, and the certified copy of bylaws and memorandum of the association and certificate of registration of the association from the competent authority, which is the Register of Cooperative Society, that we need to collect. And then if builder is coordinating to get the cooperative society done, right? And then list of amenities that need to be done. And then car parking drawing and allocation details. These things also need to be captured. So these are the important. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I had one query. How do you usually? I mean, this is related to membership data here. How do you, in other associations or in your experience, what is the right way to certify a member?
No, the sale deed is a absolute. Yeah, sale deed is the absolute way to do that. And if you file an RTI in sub-register office, you will get all the details. What you need to do is mention the apartment name and then give me the list of owners who registered, and then they will give you all the details. We recently extracted in one of the projects where we need to identify the land records irregularities. The sub-registrar responded with all the details. So you will get it in the sub-register office.
So the request that goes in is a bulk request, or so for example, say NICU 1, if we submit a request, is that per individual apartment or encompassing
it's an entire list of owners? You will get the details.
I see.
And usually builders will maintain this inventory, because whenever they sell the property, right? So they will have a CRM system that they maintain all these details, right? Please ask them, directly available, no? And I mean, how do you validate? Because builder, if they are giving wrong data, you can validate with the sub-register data.
Sub-register. The only thing is, builder will have maintained it, but would they also have maintained it if, say, I bought an apartment and then I sold it off, right? In that case, he might not have that accurate data because
builder may not have it, but the sub-register will have the data.
Sub-register office.
Yeah, sub-register, every transaction that happens on the property will be recorded in sub-register office.
I see. Okay. And
so once the registration is done, right? Yeah, once the association get registered under cooperative society, one cooperative society, there is a register of members, right? And that register of members need to be maintained. So I think we need to learn this from, I think some gentleman was talking about Maharashtra model, right? The cooperative society responsibility is also to maintain the records of the owners whenever there is a ownership change happens, right? So a cooperative society should also maintain the records of the owners so that there is a share certificate that transfers, and the share certificate will be issued by the cooperative society to the new owner after they submit that to cooperative society. So there is a legal process
that's right,
that's in place. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
so
one
that is
of
why
the items we were looking
we need to take control, because builders after certain years, right, you will just vanish. Whatever maybe the big project
that is one of the reason. That is one of the reason between the 2017 to 2023, many flats have been resold.
Yes.
None of the customer or buyer or seller has approached to association for getting their NOC.
Exactly. And because it's not a registered association, nobody will come and ask you, and you also don't have an authority to go and ask them, give me the maintenance, right? Because you can't take any other step other than if you go to court, then they will say, you can't even register a complaint against them because it's not a registered body. And if you go to police station, they will say, who are you, right? And if you say, I'm the secretary, they will say, show me the secretary document. I'm just giving an example because it happened with me also. Some people try to complain in the police station against me, and I asked the police station one question: who is that person who is registering a complaint against me? He said he's the secretary of the association. I said which association? He said some name, and I said can you please ask him to get a certificate of registration to prove that it is a registered association, and then prove that he is a secretary. Then he just vanished. So please, that is why we should have a registration.
So is it mandatory to have this cooperative society registration for this RTI, or can we file it in our current state?
No, individually you can file for getting the details from the sub-registrar, is it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, anybody
that's
can
what-
file. Any individual can file. You don't need a
Right.
registered body to file details
Okay.
because it's a
I mean,
public
it's a
document. No?
confidential data,
No,
right?
it is not confidential. Anything that get registered in sub-register office is not a confidential. It's a public data.
Okay.
There is a
All right, thank
myth saying that it's a private data. No, the moment you register and you get a CD number, right? Anybody can get. I can see the sale deed of anybody in the Kaveri if I know the CD number. But I cannot use that for mortgaging. That becomes cheating.
I see. Okay.
You can view.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Dhananjay,
Yeah, yes, sir.
See, now we have registered already under KOA 72 Act, DOD has been registered. Now, let's say, for example, we go and register again in the cooperative society, that requires bylaws and all those things, a set of bylaws, right? And then how do we link these two things legally?
No, this association, frankly speaking, no legal sanity, sir.
Huh?
No, I will tell you, we need to call for an AGM or a special general body meeting, saying that as per to comply with the RERA regulation, to comply with the COFA, we are going ahead with the registration of a cooperative society, and then only 20 people are required to register a cooperative society.
No, I understand that. And let's say we go and register in cooperative society. Yeah. But my question is, how do we link these two things together? Are there going to be silos?
No, it is not going to be silos. You need to transfer. See, for example, what is there in the current association? Tell me, any assets been created? No, right?
No, all the clubhouse, everything has been registered on this thing. And the entire DOD.
No, DOD registration is different. DOD registration is only to make the property transferable, inheritable. Nowhere it said, association, is registered over there, right? It says that there are set of assets.
Yes, set of assets only. It's registered on, on an AOA. We have created a AOA. So it's registered onto the AOA. So the assets have been transferred by the builder.
No, where is the asset? Did the builder has signed any handover document?
Yeah, that's handover is still pending. We are still holding on to the handover.
Not yet.
Handover is still pending because we still have some quality issues. Negotiations are going on. That is a process that's going to kickstart. Let's say we do all of that. Let's say, for example, as per the DOD registration, handover will happen and the builder is done, right? We form.
As per the DOD, what happens? The property is transferable and inheritable. That's it. It doesn't talk about handover. Handover need to happen whether it's a physical asset or land title or everything to a registered association.
To the association, they have to hand it over.
They have to hand it over. Any asset with respect to the apartment, right, has to be transferred in the name of the association. And if it is registered, then only you have a sanity. Otherwise, for builder, writing a list of these assets, okay, there is a gym equipment, there are these assets, and then mentioning the name of the association as per the DOD, and then giving is not a big deal.
Dhananjay, I would like to come in here.
He will do that. He will do that if if he has intentions are wrong.
No, let's say everything is, we all have right intentions. Let's not suspect anything. What I'm saying is, see, under as part of the NHOA, AOA, he has already registered the DOD, right? The handover is pending. That will happen, say, sometime later, right? Then we go and register with the cooperative society. What is the linkage between these two?
Dhananjay, can I take this question?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Whoso is the gentleman who is telling us that Mr. Ramesh, tell me one thing. What is the DOD declaration?
He's just declaring these are the assets, I'm giving it to you. That's
exactly. It. No, he's not even saying that he's giving it to you.
It is a declaration. These are the assets that exist.
No, please. Now, what is deed of declaration? Deed of declaration is a declaration.
Yes.
Right? But nothing else happens. I declare that these are all the things which are there in the this particular project.
That's
right?
Correct.
And the deed of declaration is to be declared in a document which is there in the Act and in the root called Form A, right? Wherein everything, each and every nut and bolt, everything which is the content of this particular project which is being submitted under this particular act is declared there. Right? And who is the signatory for this declaration?
5 of us, there are 5.
Declaration, DOD.
One second, Dhananjay, let me ask you.
Yeah.
So who are the signatories to this deed of declaration?
BUPL, that's a builder, and 5 resident owners.
Why are you declaring?
Not the DOD, that's the bylaws.
We are
Ramesh,
talking
not
about
the
DOD, sir. DOD.
One second, I'm asking
Ramesh,
for
you're
the
getting mixed
DOD.
up.
Just go one by one, please.
Yeah, one by one, please. Who are the signatories for the declaration?
That's what they have asked for 5 residents to 5 owners to come and sign this thing along with our bylaws.
No, please don't bring the bylaw in this. I'm just asking for a bylaw is only an annexure to the declaration.
That's correct, because that is authentic, like ID proof.
And let me, if you permit me, Commander Surendra, let me address it for you.
Yeah, please.
In the DOD, there are 3 parties which have been mentioned.
Yes.
Party number 1 is the builder. Party number 2 is 5 of the members who have been from the ad hoc committee, which was set up to form the association. Okay. And the party number 3 was the representatives of the builder. These were the 3 parties.
One second. You said builder, then the
builder.
Representative of builder, and then
Yes.
a few owners.
Yes, and the representatives of the association who were 5 owners or 6 owners who were there.
No, see, now they could, owners or representative association. Gentlemen, please, now don't mistake me for being a little more, splitting the hair, because law is all about splitting hair, right?
Yes,
now, who can submit the property to the Apartment Ownership Act 72? Who is authorized to submit this property? Section 2 of this act. No, please, Section 2 of this act. If you have the act in front of you, please open it and read it. Otherwise, I will open it and read it for you. Yeah. Section 2 very clearly says, if you show me the word builder in this act, right, I will take my word back. There is no word builder mentioned anywhere in that act. Right? Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm looking into the act also for my benefit.
Please. What is the section, sir?
Go ahead.
Section 2.
Section 2. Okay. Yeah, I'm just opening so that everybody can see. 1 second. Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the section 2, applicability of the act. This act applies only to property the sole owner or all of the owners of which submit same provision of the act is duly executed and registering the declaration provided. So if they says sole owner or all owners, so 5 people cannot represent, no?
Then I'll just take over from here now.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
The act says that who are authorized to submit this property under this particular act. It very clearly says sole owner or all owners, right? The builder can also be a owner, right? But if you use the word builder, then he's one chap who is only building. The word owner here is basically what it means is the owner of the property, that is the landowner.
That's correct.
Right? Now, association representatives, owner representatives, etc. No, there could be owners, but if I am a secretary of the association, I am secretary because I am owner. When I sit in the office and sign as secretary, I am signing that designation. When I sit in my home as an owner, I sign as owner. So I am the same person. But in legal terms, I am signing one as here, one different capacity. So now in your deed of declaration, the builder has signed, is it a joint development property?
No. It's a
Commander, can I come in for a minute here?
Yeah,
let me clarify the points that you mentioned. Okay. Yeah. The deed of declaration has been signed by 3 declarants. Okay. I'm reading exactly the DO deed which has been signed. One, there were 3 people, 3 to 5 people. Herein, after collectively referred to as declarant number and also referred to as members of ad hoc committee. That's one party or declarant 1. Second declarant is the registered apartment owners of the co as mentioned in annexure. So there is an annexure which talks about all the flat owners. And the third, herein after collectively referred to as, the third one is and Messrs. Bhartiya City Developers Private Limited, a company incorporated under the Companies Act, in hereinafter declared as declarant number 3. And it means it also talks about the various things, and it says the declarant 3 owns the property described as follows, which is the builder, which is the BUPL, and they talked about the survey number and so on and so forth, and then they described the property, and they go on with all the other elements in this one. And they also, for the benefit of all the people, I'm saying, they also collected what is called as power of attorney, but not all the owners signed the power of attorney to represent in front of the registrar of this one. So it was after a few people have signed, the rest of the people accepted through the general body meeting, the formation of the association or DOD also. Sorry, that's all I want.
Very interesting case study. This is the first time we are hearing somebody, few owners are signing as sole owners.
Yes. Perhaps, I would recommend, a face-to-face meeting. If you can spare some time, we can have the documents with us and sit across the table and, get some clarity from you, or we can travel to your place, or you can travel to our place. Either way, that will be better than, trying to, understand these things.
Ramesh sir, one thing I wanted to tell you is that, as per the act also, right? Let me go as per the government acts. As per the act, it says a sole owner can sign the DOD. All owners. When the DOD was executed, 5 people are not representing the association. They are not representative body of the association. So those 5 people who signed itself is not right as per the act. They are not the sole owners. There are 2,000 or 1,000 plus owners are there, right? So sole owner means landowner or a builder, whoever owns the land. He is declaring, makes sense, but it's only a declaration, right? So please go ahead, sir.
No, that's what I'm saying. See, yes, understand. See, the law is one side, the actual reality, what has happened so far is one thing.
Whatever happened, it's fine. So, but only thing is,
so
now
I'm sure we can get clarity from their law. So they had a bunch of them and a bunch of lawyers with them also. I don't think Bharti City would have simply, executed a 500-page document without, vetting it through, their law firm and whoever the legal experts are. But that is why maybe we have some more corner cases to be explored, because this development is slightly different compared to other apartment. This is a township development they are doing. So this is what our understanding is. This is what has happened so far. Maybe we can sit across the table and
definitely
the documents in detail, and then see where we are and where we can head.
Yeah, see, absolutely correct. And only thing is, what I urge every association is that you should have a registered body. Okay. So next step, what to be done is all, can be worked out separately. And then third point is, if builders can execute land transfer with whatever the current association that you are mentioning, right? So, or whatever the existing that where some people have signed and etc. Fine, 16 acres, the land record should reflect the association name. If the builder can able to get that done, you can run with the current association itself.
No, that's correct. That's what I'm saying.
Right? So that's why I'm saying it cannot happen, because it is not a registered body. It cannot hold the title.
No, I understand that. You see, what I'm saying is like, I would like to request a face-to-face meeting with all the relevant documents. We just go ahead and verify the documents and see, where we are, and perhaps seek some answers from BC, and then chart a course.
By the way, Ramesh sir, I have your DOD. Since I was one of the home buyer there, I had all the Nico Home documents with me.
So
No,
sorry to
not the
interrupt,
documents, we will afterwards.
Ramesji, Ramesji and Dhananjay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
If you don't mind, just the interest of others,
Yeah.
can we go through the complete presentation first, and
I
probably
think
we can
let's
continue the
complete that.
question and answer.
Only one slide
Yeah.
left. Let me important
Okay.
slide. Yeah, let me complete that and we'll come back. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Is it visible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So these are the 22 important line items. For all these things to happen, you should have a registration body, right? And then what challenges? See, everybody is talking about apartment association, and then why suddenly all these things are popped up, and all those lot of confusions, and we are in no voice and etc., right? We are accepting that because apartment culture is new, and we list down as a Karnataka Home Buyers Forum, we list down 3 important challenges that the flat owners are facing. One, apartment project land title transfer not happening in Karnataka because there is no registration body corporate which can hold the title. First step is to have a registered body which doesn't exist. That is why the land title transfer is not happening in Karnataka. And there is no incorporation status for the apartment association to take conveyance deed from the promoter. Same thing, right? So one is land transfer not happening for a small apartment and bigger apartment, both categories. But on the second is there is no registration body or incorporated status for association, then it cannot happen, right? So these two. First one is on land title. Second one is association formation. Third one is there is no proper governing body from the government on apartment association. The reason is the Apartment Act was formed in 1972, and there is since to complete that act itself, right? They say register of cooperative society, but register of cooperative society is not been notified what to be done. That's why the 511 case was being filed, and then DOD based registration and DOD based submissions and all, what to be done and all. Since the matter is in the court of law, I don't want to comment too much things on that, but the problem exists because there is no government body who can govern if it is under 1972 Act. But if the association is registered under Cooperative Society Act, we have a housing cooperative society, we have a register of cooperative society who is governing. Suppose if election need to happen, they will send somebody to conduct election in a fair manner. If there is any issue with the association, anybody can raise a complaint in the register of cooperative society and get their address, the complaints are addressed, right? And then there is a government body before going to the court. So the fundamental difference is there is a government body if you registered association under this act, right? So that these are the 3 important challenges that we are seeing. So another important stuff is, in your project, what is my land share? Somebody will ask you, land share concept, right? How to calculate a land share. So this is the formula that has been given by the High Court in writ petition 5765 of 2020, and the order was dated very latest, wonderful, beautiful order 21/2023. Madras High Court has given this order, which is a divisional bench order. Okay, please make a note of this writ petition and go to Madras High Court website, download this order copy. You will see the beauty of this order. It clearly said the entire project land belongs to flat owners is the order, and also defined. I just kept taken the land share calculation part because this is the way you need to calculate what is your share in the land. Undivided share is equal to total land area. So for example, 16 acres is your land area divided by total built up area, entire 10 towers, right? Add up all those built up area multiplied by area of your apartment in we call it as a carpet area, not the super built up area, right? There is no word called super built up area in the records, by the way. Many of the buildings are being sold as super built up area. Many of the flats have been sold as a super built up area, but RERA doesn't recognize SBU, super built up area. RERA recognizes only the carpet area, but still irregularities are happening. So this is the way you need to calculate. And then if your land share is not as per this formula, you can litigate in the court of law under this section, where you can say court, High Court of Madras in Karnataka, and get a solution and increase in your land share and litigate against the builder if your land share is not as per this formula. Because the order is in place. It is left to the individuals. If they want to get benefit out of this order, you can always get it. This is the way land share need to be calculated, and the court order is in place. Please exercise this, right? So we also made some requests to some, banks irregularities, right? Agreement for sale registration is not happening in some of the banks. right? And this is one of the important recommendations that we have given to RBI. I don't know when that's going to implement it, but we have recommended them. All agreement for sale must be compulsorily registered. A lot of irregularities can be stopped during the construction phase and even after that, right? So if they do that, and also on the title reflection of the association name should happen in the undivided share, right? That also we ensure that bank should ensure the land title with the flat khata, right? Mapping of flat khata versus land khata, I requested bank to confirm before giving the home loans, right? And then we also send to the government was to make the compulsory registration sub-register office. And even today, the sub-register office is not making it a compulsory registration, but the IGR guidelines say that it has to be compulsory registered, right? And then we given some notification and requested IGR to pass an order to register under Cooperative Society Act, and then that's in progress. And promoter claiming deemed registration of association or KO error through practice original, we requested the stopping of this, but since there is a 511 case, I think we'll have to wait for that, right? And some of these cooperative society guidelines that we requested, I think probably I can share this slide later. And with respect to home buyers or flat owners, what recommendation that we are giving is registration of AVSS, and then reach out to IGR, Inspector General of Registration, to show your land title rights to get transferred in your name if they can able to do it, or take case of the project and ensure that TOD is reflected, and register flat owners association under Cooperative Societies Act or Companies Act, and take conveyance of project title in the name of the association. I know second will not happen in anybody's case. That's why we require third to be happen, and take a conveyance in the name of the association. If a builder promoter doesn't execute the conveyance deed, then you have to litigate in the court of law, right? And it is even if the flat is constructed before RERA also, it comes under RERA if it is OC is not obtained, if the project is not completed. Recently, there is a court order mentioning that. Some of the references you can read is Real Estate Regulatory Act or Transfer of Property Act, Karnataka Stamp and Registration Act, and Bangalore Mahanagarapalaya Building Bylaw to understand FAR, FSI and stuff like that, right? And to understand what the registration instrument related flats apartment, the link is being shared here. You click on this link, you will get some of the information from the government departments. And that's all from my side. And probably we'll, it's already 2 hours now. We'll open up the floor for questions, and then probably we'll take some time to answer.
So one question I have.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I will take the coffee.
You had spoken about registering our association under the Karnataka Co-Operative Society.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. You need some throat lubrication. I thought.
No,
sir, you mentioned about actually registering our association under the. Yeah, it's okay. Then a slight delay in voice.
Okay.
You had spoken about registering our association under the Karnataka Co-Operative Societies Act 1959. The fact is, we also have some pending, much needed, modification changes in our bylaws. Would it then make sense to first incorporate those changes, register the bylaws first, and then register the association, or can that happen
where do you,
independently and separately?
What is the plan to register the bylaws? Where is the registration of bylaw to happen?
So bylaws have not been registered yet.
No,
can I just answer this?
I mean, bylaws are registered at the sub-registrar's office.
Nahi hoga, sir. See, the reason is the sub-registrar is not the authorized competent authority to register association, and bylaw modification, if you go, it will not happen.
No, but the bylaws are an appendix to the DOD registration. They wanted a base, how these 5 people come into the picture. So
yeah,
it is in the bylaws. So that is why bylaw was registered, it has the stamping, but its actual registration was DOD.
It is not a bylaw registration. So how do we?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a DOD registration.
It's a DOD registration. It's not a bylaw registration. Yeah, exactly.
No, you're right. But so when we're talking about the society registration again for a cooperative society 59, so probably by the time with the 59 when we are initiating the process, by the time the bylaws review can be done parallelly, and we can go with the revised bylaw.
Now let me answer to that. So cooperative society has got a standard bylaws, and we have to respect that. and any modification need to happen, while you are processing that, right? There are certain sections that cannot be modified.
Yeah, can we get
For
a copy
example,
of that?
election
Can we get a
conducting
copy of
process,
that,
and then tenure of the office bearers and etc. Right? There are mandatory bylaws that cannot be modified or altered. Otherwise, the Register of Cooperative Society will not accept the bylaw because it is gone as per the Central Act of cooperative societies.
I think that's quite interesting information. We probably we were not aware.
Yeah.
The process
Yes,
of registering under Cooperative Society Act has got a process laid down already.
Yeah.
First, you have to have a general body meeting wherein the members who want to propose, right? They have to elect a promoter, proposer, and then 20 people, etc., etc. Then make a submission to the Cooperative Society Registrar that you want to register under Cooperative Societies Act. Then he will give you permission. Then there is a process that you have to collect share capital, deposit that money into a bank which is nominated by the Registrar of Cooperative Societies, etc. Then you have to submit a copy of the bylaws. Then he will go through the bylaws, ask for changes as per law is required, etc. Then he'll approve that. Like this whole process is there. The bylaw that you have already, which is supposed to be, like some of you are claiming that it is a part of the DOD, right, has nothing to do with the bylaws of the cooperative society, right? So please don't relate them. They are not related. They're absolutely nothing to do with each other.
No, that
you have to have a set of new bylaws to go along with the cooperative society.
And if you decide to go with the cooperative society, we can help you with the right advocate who can get it registered.
There are model bylaws. There are model bylaws in the Cooperative Society Act. Yeah.
Is there an approved copy of the 59 Act? The bylaw. Probably we all can refer.
It's there in the website.
You can always take it from somebody who's already registered in the cooperative society, and there is a model bylaw in the Act itself.
We can share with you, sir.
That's not a problem.
There is one apartment by name Classic Apartment in Bangalore. So he is also part of our team, and they have registered it. And recently there are few more already go ahead and see, because there is a step up procedure as Commander Sir explained, right? So a lot of people are in the second or third stage of it, where they're submitting the bylaws and getting it validated and all. So Classic Apartment already got the stuff, and then now they are operating as a cooperative society. And then people are slowly understanding the power of the cooperative society, having a registered association, and then slowly everybody is moving into cooperative society. It is just a time, and housing cooperative society movement is already begun. More than 50 to 70 associations already in the process. Those who believe that 1972 is the best act, right? So they are already moving to cooperative society now because they understood the land rights are not protected. Because in December, what happened? There is an integration issues that got resolved between Kaveri and sub-registrar office. There is a software that they use, right? So everybody now you can go and check who are the transactions and everything with a click of a button, right? So every transaction is available for everyone to view. With that land, after we propagated about land khata, everybody started looking into the land khata of their apartment and realizing that the landowner or a builder name exists in land khata. Then what are they going to get in their flat khata is peanut, right? It's not even peanut, it's nothing. It's absolutely zero, it's just a declaration, right? So that's when people are realizing and moving to cooperative society.
Dhananjay, I just want to share some points about the 72 Act, and its current status as it is in the court, so that people are aware of what exactly it is, because there is an ambiguity, there is a lot of confusion about this particular act. And rightly, as one of our members who are participating in this discussion said that the builder brought a whole lot of advocates who are all qualified, etc., etc., etc. Absolutely fine. I mean, all the builders are supported by what you call a team of lawyers, right? And they keep telling us this and that, etc. See, the issue is very simple. There is a public interest litigation in the High Court of Karnataka in the number of what is called WP 511 of 2021. Please go ahead and check all the details. Now, the issue is like this. There are two aspects. One is a matter of technicality, the other is matter of process. Right? Now, the 1972 Act was enacted and it got passed through the assembly, and then the president's assent, all that has happened. Right? Now, if you go through the Act in minute detail, you will find that there are specific ways that this Act has been to be implemented. Right? Now, we were discussing about who are the signatories of the DOD. Right? What I find is that different organizations have had the DOD signed by different types of people. It cannot be different for different people, right? The Act very clearly says sole owner or all owners. Now, there is a lot of debate which is going on as to how do you determine as to who are these, what exactly you mean by owner. One school of thought is the word sole owner has no doubt at all. That means if I own the land, right, I am the sole owner. That is, if the land is only in my name, I'm the sole owner. There is nobody else there. Now, when it comes to sole owner or all owners, now this is where there is a ambiguity which needs clarification, right? Which is not come forward as of now. That is, if it's a joint property, that is me, my wife, children, etc., 10 of us are owners of that land, then we become all owners. That is one concept. The other concept that which people are putting forward is, if the owner has got into an agreement of sale through an agreement with X number of people, then these X number of people have paid a certain amount of money and executed that agreement of sale. And that is the reason why both RERA as well as the previous act, that is the COFA 72, very clearly says that the agreement of sale is to be registered in the sub-registrar's office, because the moment you register the agreement of sale, that creates a lien on that property. So I become a part owner of that, right? So if the sole owner submits this property before even the first agreement of sale is made, then he has got every right to sign that declaration as a sole owner. The moment one agreement of sale gets signed, then that person also becomes a party to that land. So he or all of them should be included. Then it goes subsequently further, right? If apartments have been sold and then the DOD is being submitted, then all those owners of apartment who have registered their sale, because when it is already conveyance has taken place, that means that portion of the property has already been sold, so they also become sole owners. So no, this debate is going on in the circles of all the home buyers, etc., but no clarity has come. Keep that aside, okay, because there's no clarity. But there are few issues which are very clear, is that the Act says that the deed of declaration is to be registered in a separate book, right? It is very clearly says that each sub-registrar, jurisdictional sub-registrar, is to open a separate register and register this document in that book. Now, if you go back to your DOD and see, either it will be registered in book 1 or in book 4, right? Whereas that is not what is to be done. And this writ petition, which is in the court, is on this issue, that the sub-registrar has registered the document without having been authorized to register, because the DOD should not go into either of these books 1, 2, or 3, 4. It has to go through a separate book. The government failed in notifying this particular thing, and that is how this mistake has happened. DODs are getting registered in either book 1 or book 4 at the whims and fancy of sub-registrar. If your DOD goes to book 1, why should my DOD go to book 4? If DOD is registered with a registration fee of 100 rupees, mine is registered with a stamp duty of 2,000 rupees, because there is no a clear understanding as to what is this document about and how it is to be registered. So the PIL is based on that, saying that since the sub-registrar did not have a specific notification telling him to do what he is supposed to do, he has done it whichever way he wants. So the DOD is to be cancelled. That is where it is lying. So my humble request to all of you is that any amount of discussion, I put across some point of view, you put across some point of view, all of us may be right, all of us may be wrong, or partly wrong or right. Let the court decide.
It's in book 4. Ours was registered in book 4.
No, there are DODs which have been registered in book 1 also. See, now if you know what is this book 4 and book 1, book 1 is for those documents where property title is getting transferred. Right now, by a DOD, does the property get transferred?
No.
Right? Does DOD attract stamp duty?
No, 10,000 rupees only.
1,000.
That is an administrative fee. That's only registration fee.
It's just a registration.
Can you imagine a property worth thousands of crores because DOD is declaring Schedule A property, that is, property bound by this, etc., etc. I mean, like for instance, in your DOD, it could be 16 acres of land, right? In somebody else's DOD, right? Then there is no property, there is no stamp duty. So if there is no stamp duty, how can that document become a conveyance property? Can the builder or the promoter, I would use the word promoter, who is either a builder, landowner, right? How can he transfer property without a rupee, a naya paisa of stamp duty going to the revenue of the government? It cannot happen, right?
Yeah,
I just want to have a small clarity.
Yeah, go ahead,
a small clarity on the sale deed. What about the validity of the sale deed, which has given the UDS also, and which is equivalent to the 16 acres? The total UDS of the owners is, if it is 16 acres, what the project is constructed, then that document is not valid.
That document becomes valid only if the land gets transferred in the name of the association.
No, see, here, there also, they are given clearly the undivided share of the land, and it is matching to the total 16 acres what they have given. Then
one second.
Sir, sir, I got your point, but only thing is extract the land khata and show me your names.
No, see, individual names are there with the UDS. UDS is mentioned.
No, sir, you're talking about flat sale deed. What I'm talking is the land, 16-acre land, right? There is a khata that has been created by the BBMP for 16 acres. Please extract the land khata of the particular 16 acres and show me your name in that.
No, what is the UDS? What do you mean by UDS?
UDS is only a declaration.
Dhananjay, I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you. Sir, what your question is like this. In your sale deed, it gives the Schedule A property as 16 acres. Am I right?
Yes.
Then it comes up down to saying that you have an undivided share of X square feet of land.
Yes,
correct.
Right? So now what is being shown is that Scheduled A property is the total property which is under consideration is what is being shown. There is no mention that that is being transferred. Right? That is being conveyed to you. What is being conveyed to you is the 300 or 350, whatever square foot is, that is what is your entitlement. Now, sir, do you understand what is the meaning of the word undivided share? If it is mentioned share or interest, why is it used as undivided? If you buy a property of a plot of 40-60 anywhere in the country, there is no word used as undivided. Whereas here in your and my property of sale deed, when we buy an apartment, there is specific mention of undivided. So no harm. I mean, I also lent it over a period of time. No harm. If you understand,
sir, please don't hesitate. Everyone, we are all learners in this platform.
Sir, all of us are learners. We have all.
Please
learned,
don't take our words wrongly. Yeah.
Our idea is to share knowledge so that you get empowered. And what I share with you, you will share it with 100 more people. Right? Sir, anyway, I'll go ahead. Undivided means that in a piece of land, when you buy a 40-60 plot, it will have boundaries on all four sides. Am I right, sir?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, in your sale deed, this 300 square foot is mentioned there. Is there a boundary on all four sides?
Yes. So I'll clarify. I'll clarify. There are 3 schedules in our sale deed. Schedule A is for the entire project of 100 acres. Schedule B is for the 16-acre project. And Schedule C is very specifically for the apartment. So where there are boundaries declared in the Schedule C.
Okay. Which is like if you can share the sale deed, sir, if you have a copy.
Dhananjay, one second, let me ask this gentleman. Now, I understand Schedule A property is the larger part of the property.
100 acres. Correct.
100 acres. Schedule B is the 16 acre.
That's 16 acres.
Carved out of the larger part, right?
That's
because this is a town development, etc. It is confusing, yes. But Schedule C is your apartment.
Apartment.
Right, sir. Now Schedule C says, Schedule C has got boundaries, you say.
Yes, but not the land boundaries. It says that there is an open space on east. There is in the west flat number, apartment number, so and so.
Sir, actually, that is basically to identify where your apartment is lying in respect to others. Right?
That's correct.
Whereas apartment boundaries are never, not required, but it's mentioned because of that. But the 300 square foot or whatever may be the number of square foot, does that have a boundary?
No, it's an undivided share of the 16 acres.
Exactly, sir. See, since it is undivided, it cannot be identified in that 16 acres of land.
That's correct.
It is to make it simple. I mean, it sound a little, too rudimentary, but important. It is, sir. It is like this: a pot of water, where 100 glasses of water is there. You own 10 glasses. I own 5. Somebody else wants 20, etc., etc. That when you look at the pot, this 100 glasses of water is seen. Can you, in that 100 glasses of water, identify which is your 10 and which is my 5? No, we can't.
No. Even if it is transferred on the name of association, it is the same case. You can't identify your UDS.
No, sir, you can't.
Sir, the property will be in the association name, no? But you will have a share certificate.
That is okay, but individually you can't.
No. You will have a share certificate. You will have a share certificate.
Sir, it is very clear that none of us can own this land as individuals.
Yes.
It is not possible.
It is not possible. Neither can you transfer this 300 square foot or can you sell it separately.
Independently not possible.
It is attached to your apartment, number one.
So there is no point of having a identification of your 300 square foot. That is clear.
No point. It cannot be done.
It cannot be done. Technically, it cannot be done.
Technically.
So that is the reason, sir. That is the reason. See, practically what happens is that one way of doing this is that, right, if there are 10 apartments, I'm just giving you a smaller example. If there are 10 apartments and if 10 of us share that undivided land on which the apartment is built, maybe, yes, all 10 names can be put into the joint ownership of that land. Like the way in a family we own joint ownership, that also can be put, right? Which will be a legal document. And then if one of us sell that land, sell that apartment, so that ownership of that portion changes. So all 9 plus the original owner 10 plus the new owner 11 will have to troop into the sub-registrar's office to make the new transfer deed, right? Maybe even that is possible, right? May not be, but imagine in a place like yours where there are 2,000 apartments, there will be transaction on a daily basis. So can all the 2,000 people go and sign that document and come back? No. So that is the reason, to make it convenient and feasible, that this total property, that is the 16 acres of land, has to be conveyed, that is title conveyed to the Apartment Owners Association, which is a single entity, right? That apartment will hold your share or interest in trust, which will be what you call documented as a share certificate or whatever it is. And the Apartment Owners Association as a single entity will take decisions on behalf of all of us. How the decision is taken is by the general body, the majority voting, etc., which is as per the act under which your association is functioning. Do you understand what I'm putting across, sir? So this is not only this thing, it is a matter of convenience, and that is so whether when I sell my apartment, right, the land part is not being touched at all. Only my entitlement I'm sharing. It's like I sell a share in the market, right? The ownership of the company does not change. My share I sell, you buy. That's all. Nothing happens. The name in that register will change from Surendra to X and Y and Z, whereas the total company remains the same. So the same concept is used here. So that is the importance of having this total land getting transferred to the association of owners. So this is the concept of undivided share.
Yeah. And also another advantage I will tell you why it has to be in the name of the association. Today you have a FAR approval of say around 3, right? And if you have a land of 16 acre, you can construct 3 into 16 acres, whatever is the size that comes to, right? That much square feet of construction you can do. Today, we are talking about 3 as a FAR, but tomorrow the FAR can increase to 5, right? And the society can build 5 into that many number of acres of land that society owns. Who will get benefits? The members of the association will get benefit. You need to understand all these things are linked to the development rights and as well as the FAR and FSI of the apartment. So that's where the builders, whenever the moment you talk about conveyance deed, they hesitate and try to create dramas, because the increase in FAR or increase in FSI, the builders want to retain for themselves so that they can make a profit based on our investment. So it is in the interest of the home buyers and flat owners to gain that profit in the future for your generations, not for builders. Is that clear? So you got it point, right? 3 to 5, if FAR increases, your apartment construction doubles, then you will get a benefit because you hold a shared certificate of the society.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's the important thing that everybody need to understand, why association name need to be there in the records for land, not the builder's name.
I have two more questions.
Yes, sir.
One is with respect to the UDS formula that you spoke.
Yeah.
And the second one is with respect to registration of the company under association under the Cooperative Societies Act.
Go ahead.
So first I'll ask about the Cooperative Societies Act. How much time would it take to practical? Let's be practical.
Practical, 6 months. Maximum 6 months. Sir.
Maximum of 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I said, there are only few limited advocates in Bangalore who understand this act properly and then get it done. So we'll help you with that, right advocates who can get it done. Because for size of your apartment, you need a cooperative society.
How many registered associations are there in Bangalore?
So there are, as per our knowledge, there are 10 to 15 bigger apartments already there. And then 50 to 60 in the process. And I will share you one certificate, probably in the interest of everyone to understand how it looks like. You can see this PDF file. Yeah, this is the classic one. This is one of our member organization. Classic Landmark Apartment Owners Co-Operative Society Limited. This is how it looks like, with the registration address and the registration number and a PAN number. So this is how, template or limited, this is how the name will come once you get a registration done. And after registration is done, these guys have initiated a email to all sub-register office not to register the DOD, because what happened in this, there is a tug of war between the builders and the society, because builder had a unsold FSI left over and he want to convert that into commercial, whatever, right? There is some tug of war is happening between the associations and the builders. So they are trying to create a hangama for these guys, and then a society is going with all legal terms, right? So that's why I said it's not what we call it as until unless we understand our rights, right? So we will not be able to get through it. But only thing is you have to go with the right approach and gets the registered association in place so that you can fight with the builders. I'm sure your builder is a good guy, as somebody was mentioning, you have a good relationship, right? And he will definitely 16 acres out of 100 acres transferred in the name of the association is not a big deal for them, right? And you own it. By the way, you purchased and you paid money for the land as well. As somebody was mentioning, right? There is some square feet of land mentioned in the sale deed. How do we get realized? Only if it is get transferred in the society, then only your rights are protected. Otherwise, builder will just keep it away, and it may happen that in the later stage, builder will come back and say, I am the owner and you please get out of it. Then you have to take the sale deed and litigate in the court of law saying that I got this, I did not get this in the land record.
Coming to the second question, which was on the UDS.
Yeah.
So in our current apartment structure, we have individual flats.
Correct.
And then we have the common amenities. And then there is a clubhouse, which itself is a couple of lakh square feet. So how does this entire calculation work? I mean, one is the land part, and the other one is the.
So whatever is mentioned in your Schedule B, right? So that becomes your flat related land share. But your undivided interest will be there, and you will not have a rights. Land rights will not be there on a common facilities outside your Schedule B. In your case, Schedule A is overall 100 acre. Schedule B is your Nico Home 1, right? So that is where you will have a full ownership, but you will not have a full ownership on the land on the rest of the 100 acres. You can walk around, you can utilize it, and etc. etc. But a utilization limits, but not a ownership limit. Ownership is only limited to 16 acres.
No, I think Chandan's question is slightly different. Within that parcel of 16.5 acres, we have clubhouse and all those things are there.
Everything. It's not about built up area. It's about only the sold. When I say far area, right? So I will just
right, Chandan. That's what your question,
the question was that only.
Yeah. Yes. So when I say built up area, the clubhouses cannot be considered there.
No, built up area go also part of common area. I mean,
common area.
Swimming pool, etc.
No, but that undivided share of land cannot be calculated for that, right? It's only for the carpet area.
It's usage. Right? Yeah.
No, please, there is a mistake here, right? See, this is where, I mean, I am also not very clear on this subject because of this typical way of, what you call yours the township. Out of 100 acres, you carve out 16 acres, right? Now, I do not know how a sanction plan is made, right? Whether it is made for the complete, what they call it, development plan or something like that. 100 acres plan is laid out of which, sorry, Nico Homes is 16 acres, right? So, what is common to everybody? Now, this clubhouse, etc. You mentioned.
No, for our discussion's sake, we can ignore the 100 acre one.
100 acres, only 16 acres.
16.5 only.
So then, if it is 16.5, then your entitlement of UDS is from the 16.5. Whatever is on that 16.5 land is a part of yours. Whether it is clubhouse, swimming pool,
that's only
court.
That's only mentioned in the DOD.
Correct.
No,
right? Beg your pardon?
That's only mentioned in the DOD, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
The 60,
See, please understand, even when you read both these acts, that is, see, there are two acts which we need to consider. One is Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72, which is the DOD part, right? Now, there is another act called Karnataka Ownership Flats Act 72, right? Both these acts give definition of what is a common area, right? Now, unfortunately, the understanding of most of the home buyers is common area is beyond my house.
It is everything.
But no, common area includes every inch of project land, including the land on which your apartment tower is standing. Right? No, all the builders are doing, Mantri is doing the same thing, and he's doing much beyond that also. Firstly, what your builders normally tell you is that your undivided share is limited to the plinth area on which your tower is standing, which is again irregular. Common area means every inch of land. Like from what I understand, what is written in your Schedule B, which is 16 acres, is considered as common area as far as legal terminology is concerned. And you have a share on that land. What stands on that land is no issue. As far as usage is concerned, right? Ownership, you have this thing. All of you as owners have a right to use those amenities. Right? My neighbor has no right to use my apartment, but he has a right to use the staircase. He has the right to use the road. He has the right to use the park, etc., etc. But when it comes to ownership, he also has a right on the total property. I also have on the total property, depending on my undivided share. Am I clear or
no? I think in a simple word. So what I do is I will just put across a formula here, right? So if you look at this. The undivided share, how do you calculate it? 16 acres divided by your combined area of all flats, whatever it is being sold, right? Multiplied by your, for example, 1,500 square feet, right? Is a carpet. I'm talking about carpet area. This is how you need to calculate it. Yeah.
3.5 million is the constructed area.
3.5 million, right? So you need to add 3.5 million here.
No, that is including clubhouse and all those things.
No. I'm talking about the far sellable area, not for.
No, it should be the carpet area.
That's
combined all carpet area of your apartment. For example, you have 1,000 apartments, right?
So we don't have the number right now.
That you need to calculate. So.
Yeah. I think that was Srinivas Chandan's question. I think that is implicitly answered. It's the carpet area, total land divided by the carpet area multiplied by your own carpet area gives you the undivided share of your land.
Correct.
That I think Chandan's question was that.
Correct.
Fine. I think we understand a lot of these things very clearly today.
Ramesh,
Yeah.
Ramesh, this they have included the clubhouse area also in the
DOD.
in the no not in the
please don't take please don't take DOD mistake at all. DOD is a document declared by the owner. He can declare anything wrong, right, etc. That's a different issue.
Yeah.
Right?
What was it, Bhargav?
To work out your what you call undivided share, what you need is what is the total area, built up area in that sanction plan of your community. That is in the 16 acres of land, what is the total built up area sanctioned by the sanctioning authority? That will depend upon the FIR.
That includes the common area also, right? That
everything,
includes,
sir, everything.
Then how would each apartment owner would know what is undivided share he is getting?
They are given Ramesh, they have given a statement. What is the undivided share of the land for each apartment, even the clubhouse also they have given a.
That's what, sir, I know in the sale deed they have put it, but we are trying to find out what is the formula to calculate. We are just
it is simple.
Yes,
sir,
they did mention for each one of us apartment in the sale deed itself.
Sir, it is
but
simple.
How did they arrive? We don't know.
That it's a simple mathematical. Sir, it's a simple mathematical calculation.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you have a plot of 40-60, right? Even if you have a plot of 40-60, when you go to the corporation or the BDA, wherever jurisdiction is there, to build an apartment or a house, etc., there also you will have to work out what is the FIR in that particular space in that jurisdiction, right? If I have a 3,000 square foot plot, and if the floor area ratio in that particular zone is 3, then I can build a structure of a super built up area is 3,000 into 3, 9,000 square meters. Right? This is how it is worked. Same thing goes to the larger scale. If I have 20,000.
I think
is very well understood. The confusion where it started is like when Dhananjay mentioned that it's super built up versus those things. That's where the confusion started.
No, the order is very clear, sir. Can you read this? This is a Madras High Court order. It's saying normally the undivided share in the land is calculated by dividing the land area by the total constructed area and multiplied it by the size of the apartment. When you say constructed area, right? So usually add up the ownership stuff. For example, your all your flat combined together, what is the carpet area that comes, right? It's called FAR areas. See, land also includes, suppose you have 16 acres, right? So in that 16 acres, how much has been built? How much is the constructed stuff, right? It will be in your project plan. And total land area, say 16 acres divided by your constructed area, multiplied your area of the apartment. Your area of the apartment is your individual area of apartment, which is carpet area. So this is the formula to calculate.
No, that's when you say carpet area, that is where the confusion started, nothing else, because when we sold carpet area came later, when the RERA thing and all those things came.
No. In a building development guide, nowhere you will find a definition of super built up area.
No, but the builder has sold it as a super built up area.
Even today they are doing it. That is where the irregularities are there.
Dhananjay, I'll answer this question. Sir, it's basically mathematics. X by Y is equal to Z. So you want to turn it around, X into Z is equal to Y. That's the way it is simple is this. So the other way of working out is now this issue of super built up area, like what Dhananjay said. There is no definition for super built up area.
There is no definition in any building development act, sir. Forget about RERA.
It's an industry norm. It's an industry norm, right? What they do is they take the carpet area and then load. Carpet area is exactly what is the carpet area is not even including the walls, exterior walls. It is within that. So take that figure and load that figure anywhere between 30 to 40%, which is your staircase, etc., all put together. There is no norm there, right? Divide that, add that into your carpet area and then call it a super built up area, because you're paying for those also, right? So he does that, right? And then this thing, if you see the RERA Act, right, it very clearly says that the apartment is to be declared, sold as carpet area, and it doesn't even talk of undivided share in the RERA. It says that the common area is to be conveyed to the apartment owners. Right? There is a little bit of what you call gray area there as to how do I know my entitlement. We'll leave that aside. Now, the other way of working out what is your undivided share is take the total area, that is constructed area, or the total sanctioned area of the complete project. 20,000, 30,000 or 10 lakh square foot or whatever it is, right? Divide that by your super built up area. But that is mentioned in your this thing, right? Now that would give you this figure of UDS. Have you got it?
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
We will share the details, sir. So whatever the repetition that I shared, right, it has got the details, how to calculate and stuff like that.
Sure. And one more, sorry to ask this
go ahead.
One more quick question is, now we have, from our association perspective, we done 1971. We have to go for the registration
72.
certificate through the Cooperative Societies Act. Is there anything that we need to do as per the KOFA migration part, or that is
when
not
you
to
say
be done?
migration, what exactly exists as part of migration? Tell me.
What I meant from that perspective is that the conveyance of the deed and so on and so forth. I think some of the steps the builder would have missed it, because those days those were not there as part of the procedures, and definitely during the construction phase it has not been registered under the Cooperative Societies Act, that we all know of the fact. Now, so there is no, do we have to revisit all of this, or let's forget all of things and just form an association under the Karnataka Societies Act? Karnataka Cooperative Society.
Yeah. So my suggestion as an individual is this: we always take the people confidence first, right? See here, who are the parties? The neighbors, right? Our fellow neighbors and our people, right? And the committee can discuss openly with what the limitations of this particular act, why it is required. We need to have a body corporate and stuff like that, right? So you can discuss with your neighbors and then decide, take a decision to move, so that you can create some documentation why we are creating a cooperative society, right? And then talk to that builder as a stuff saying that okay, we need to have a registration registered association, and then if the builder can enable it, well and good, or else please go ahead and register with 20 people, and then with the consultation of an advocate. Then after that only you kickstart the transition or a handover. Otherwise it becomes a mess. Right now I know some associations who are under serious mess because they already taken a corpus money. I'm behind that association so that they will get a registration certificate, but they are under serious trauma now because the corpus money is already received. Around 8 to 10 crores corpus money is being received, and then now somebody is raising a question about the registration certificate, and it may happen that the association bank account can get closed if the bank decides to take action, right? And then what will happen to 10 crores of money? Who will be held accountable for this, right? So if a registered association is there in place, then you can always go and say that, okay, it's a registered body, and all the money transaction, everything is accountable.
Fair.
Yeah. So please understand that anybody can question. If somebody says I am a representative, where is the registration certificate?
Okay. So
because here crores of money transaction happens, right? Maintenance money of 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees per flat, it runs into crores of money every month. And if there is no accountability, then it is going to be questionable. And let me tell you, SBI and SDFC, we are going to file a writ petition against them very soon. And because they violated the bylaw of, sorry, not bylaw, KYC of RBI. Because as per KYC RBI, registration certificate is mandatory. By the way, we have an email from SBI and SDFC itself saying that registration certificate is mandatory, but they opened the account without registration certificate. We got the email from them itself. So they cannot say no in the court of law.
They need a business.
Huh?
They need a business.
Yeah, whatever is the case, because they wanted to open an account and they sent out an email saying that certificate of registration is mandatory. Then we are asking, how did you open to our association? The answer is, they become silent now. Every day, I don't know whether you follow our Twitter. Every day, HDFC and SBI have been, asked these questions on a daily basis, and we're waiting for a right time to litigate in the court of law. So that's a lot of evidence we get created. That's why I'm saying, it's important that we should have a registered association so that, nobody should be questionable. Ultimately, today, some people are running the association. Tomorrow, somebody else will come and run the association, right? The transparency and accountability should exist in the association, because you are going to represent thousands of people and crores of hundreds or thousands of crores of property, right? So there should be a registered entity to manage the show.
My suggestion to the team is that don't even rake up this issue of Karnataka Ownership Act 72, its association, DOD, etc., etc. Just keep it aside till some clarity emerges out of it. Right? There are a lot of people who are working on this issue, right? Inside the government, outside the government, etc. We hope that some clarification will come. I don't know if, yes, I'll request Dhananjay to share some documents with you. Recently, there was a question raised in the assembly, not in the current session, probably the previous session, where a legislator raised this question, and the cooperation minister has given a clarification. Right, but then it has to come out as a notification, etc. That is what is taking time. I mean, all of us do know that the politicians have a different priority than what you and me have, and with so many things happening around, these things do take a back seat. Things will come out in clear with this thing. So my suggestion to you is that keep this Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act 72 in the back burner, and please go ahead if you're convinced that yes, you need to register an association, which is a body corporate, and take transfer of the property, that is your land asset, from the builder to your association. Please concentrate on that and push yourself on that. Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, whichever way it comes, is not going to affect these two issues.
Yeah. Right? I just flashed down, sir, and in the interest of everyone, I just flashed down the
let them read it. Let them read it. Now, the only like what Dhananjay mentioned in the first thing, and if you read the objective of the Karnataka Ownership Act 72, it very clearly says this is only to make the apartment heritable and transferable, nothing else.
That's good.
Because if you go by the general definition of an immovable property, an immovable property is a property which is attached to the ground, and an apartment is not attached to the ground because it has an undivided share. There's no land part of it, right? So it does not become an heritable and transferable property by that definition. So to give that empowerment to the apartments to become heritable and transfer, they said you put it under this particular act, and thereby it becomes this.
Yeah, I think this is the response in the Vidhan Sabha for a question raised by one of the honorable MLA. See, S.T. Somsekhar has responded on this.
S.T. Somsekhar is the cooperation minister who has responded, right? So be rest assured the matter is under consideration at the highest level.
Yeah, and also this is the legal department copy that we received. If you see the dates, right, this is 8/22/22 and all. So the Karnataka Society Registration Act, etc., Apartment Ownership Act, lieu association nondani agobai ಉಲ್ಲೇಖವಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಂದಣಿ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಯ್ದೆಗಳ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಕಾನೂನು ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. That means the legal department of the government is also saying this. This is a document that we extracted in the government, and there is a 511 mentioning, right? So to give legal notification and all, and this is what the response is. And I think, I don't know whether you guys read the money control article, which was published, very recently, where he said they have the information saying that on January 6th, they got information saying that it cannot be registered under Societies Act, and it has to be mentioned under cooperative societies only, and does not allow registration of registered welfare association. Very clear, both KOA and this one. So that means it has to be registered under Karnataka cooperative societies only. So the things are moving in a very fast manner in last 1 year, thanks to a lot of activists who are working in the ground. And then the ultimate agenda is we want to ensure the protection of the land for home buyers. And the first step is registered association to make it a body corporate. Otherwise, it cannot happen. So that's why, it's important that, you also think through it and then consult your advocates and stuff like that. Go to an advocate who has knowledgeable resources, as somebody was mentioning, right? And it's important that, don't get carried away by, some of these builders advocates, because a lot of builders advocates are trying to stop this for a variety of reasons, because they don't want to transfer the land rights in the name of the association. Very, very simple and very visible. And the kind of trauma these builders associations are creating. There is a lot of builders federations also that exist who are misguiding it. Please be cautious about it. And then your protection of land rights is important, and make the body corporate. Next step is conveyance. We'll work on it. There's a lot of work to be done in this area, right? So in Maharashtra, there is something called deemed conveyance. I think somebody from Maharashtra must be knowing this. If the builder doesn't convey within 5 years, the society can claim the land belongs to them under the deemed conveyance process, right? And for that to happen in Karnataka, we should have an apartment, cooperative society's existence first. Then deemed conveyance will come later, right? So it has to evolve. The law has to evolve, and unless we take a step, right, the law cannot evolve, because we need to get into the act first, and then make the association a legitimate association. Then you ask for deemed conveyance. This is the answer I got from a cooperative minister, right? So the moment I asked, give me deemed conveyance, I said, how many associations there in a cooperative society that you are asking for a deemed conveyance, right? So first you become a registered body. Why are you hesitating to become a registered body? This is the first question of a cooperative secretary that I met and had a half-an-hour discussion, say explaining what happened, etc. And everybody knows what is the issue. But the moment they asked how many associations are registered under cooperative society, and the answer from us and from the government is very minimal. Why anybody will create a law if the beneficiaries are very less? And if we ourselves are not interested to protect our land, why anybody will interested to be protected your land, right? So that's where the laws are not strong, because the home buyers and flat owners are assuming certain things and living in a limbo and not taking actions as per the law to protect the land rights. If we wake up, definitely will government work. In 1 year, how the government has woken up, how all this discussion started in, because everybody started asking questions. There are hundreds of RTI being filed on the same subject in last 1 year. There are a lot of public forums where people are asking about their land rights. Suddenly, how 1 year this concept came, there are more than 200 articles that we have published in last 1 year with multiple investigative journalists on the land rights and the protection of home buyers and RERA, etc., linking back to implement RERA in Karnataka. That's where the government is also taking up at a highest level. But whether it will happen today or tomorrow, we don't know. But who has to take an action? We have a cooperative society. The answer is, please go ahead and register first. Then you come and ask me what you want, right? So that's where we need every associations to move into it, not to please anyone, to protect your own land. So please remember this, and all this information is available in YouTube. All information is available in Twitter, and we are being very honest, and we have been very open in communication also. And if there are any mistake from our side, please excuse us. And we are also like each one of you who are learning and then trying to share the knowledge with data and the facts. So if somebody wants to challenge and sit, in fact, we have discovered another scam. I will tell you about the Khata scam. Okay, you must have seen OC and Khata become so popular in last 15 days. Do you know why? There is a OC scam happening. There is a Khata scam happening that we have exposed, and you will see another Khata of cancellation in some of the big builders' apartment. So be cautious with some of these cheat builders while purchasing a property. I will just give you a glimpse of it. When the builders sign a contract, right, or execute a sale deed, you will not see any land rights mentioned in the first sale deed. But the first owner who sells it through assignment deal or who sells it to second home buyer will carry undivided share. And the third home buyer follows the second home buyer. So that means in the first conveyance, there is no land rights that's been executed, but rest second to third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth is happening as a danda. So if you go back to trace the first sale deed, no land rights being conveyed. So that means the land rights remains with the landowner or a builder. This is happening in one of the premier builder, whatever you call, or the topmost cheat in real estate, which is monthly developers. So we are exposing that very shortly in the process of collecting documents. So be cautious about some of these things because your 1 crore rupee is important for you, right? So you need to protect it.
Right, right. So,
Thank you.
If nobody else has a question, I'm just stepping in place of Vijay. Vijay had to excuse himself and go out. So does anybody else have a question or? Okay, it looks like nobody else has a question. So let me, on behalf of the entire association, thank you so much, Mr. Dhananjay and Commander Surendra, for helping us out. We are really, really grateful to
Thank you all for your time,
having...
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time. You've taken 2 hours. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Good,
that's entire session was really knowledgeable, and a lot more came out. Like I have been many years in Maharashtra, and no doubt. I mean, their act, the process, the terminology is much far better, far transparent as compared to the Bangalore. And like you rightly said, the awareness about the land kata, all the things are not there in the Bangalore. And that the kind of awareness what you are spreading, and at least in Bangalore, I haven't heard in any society even does distribute the share certificate as well.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a kind of it's a long goal, but definitely you are doing an excellent job. Both of you, and and it's a kind of knowledge what you're holding despite of having all the IT work. And I was about to ask, how do you manage all the things, right? You are running NGO, you are running this what do you call this this home buyer association, all the things, too many things are in in your the complete schedule, right? How do you manage in day-to-day life, and how do you balance this?
So God has gifted with multitasking capabilities. So thanks to my wife, thanks to my family who is giving me time to do this work. And definitely without family support, it's not possible. And thanks to my team, I always like Commander Surendra sir, we have excellent knowledgeable resource like Sudhir sir, Ameya, and Jibin. Right, those are all practically, and Jibin, the one cooperative society that I showed you is executed by a gentleman by Jibin. He is also a vice president in one of the premier company, and then driving all these things. Right, so like this, all these activists are who want to bring about the change in the society. Right, all of them have joined together, like you or Vijay and other people also. Right, all of you are interested to bring something in the society as a change. That's where these things will pop up in the society. Otherwise, things will be laying down as is, right?
Yeah, I'm a part of your WhatsApp group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all of you are actually contributing. It's not only 1 or 2%. It's a collective effort of everyone, because we also keep learning, right? Whenever we expose to a problem, then we'll try to identify what is the solution to a problem. Unless we are exposed to a problem, we don't find a solution, right? That's where our thinking also will start. So problem is there, and the way we have reached to a state where we are exposing the EWS scam. Anybody heard about EWS scam in your apartment? Also, you must be having this.
Not here, but I've heard of it. Economically weaker section scam.
Economically weaker section flat scam. There is a Lokaayukta complaint I have registered against BDA, and slowly, shortly this will come into news. It's already in the paper, but investigation is in the progress. That's why I don't want to comment on this. The message is there is some percentage of the flat need to be reserved for economically weaker sections of the society in a larger project. What builders are doing is they're not reserving that flat and selling to EWS category.
So sorry to
But
chip
there's-
in.
Yeah.
So the same thing, I'm glad you raised this issue. The same thing is also applicable in all educational institutions.
Yes.
That is a huge
that's-
scam.
Yes,
It's
that
a
is
huge scam.
EWS. That's a RTE. It's called Right to Education Act.
Yes, RTE.
Under
yes,
RTE,
yes, sir.
they are not giving the stuff.
Yes.
And on this
Please carry on.
apartment,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, exactly. Similar model. So that's where since I'm in the education sector, I know what
Oh,
they're
I'm
happening
also,
there.
okay.
Oh, excellent, sir. Excellent. So it is happening in the apartment here. Double dhamaka is happening to builders because they are selling the EWS flat as a maid room. If somebody sees I have a maid room, that is nothing but EWS flat.
No, it's
Okay.
actually, it's slightly different. The EWS apartments are supposed to be built separately
Separately,
and,
yeah.
and sold to them at a nominal price.
Nominal price.
And because of that, right, as per the law, though of course I'm not very conversant with what exactly is the law, but in general, what I understand is that for doing that social, equality service,
Equality, yeah.
the government also gives some benefit.
Yeah,
Because what I am given to understand is the number of apartments that you build, that FAR which goes towards the EWS is not counted in your total FIR.
Yes.
Right? You get benefits. There must be some other incentives for doing that. So the EWS apartments are to be built separately within that complex project area and allotted to them at that particular price. What is happening is on paper it is shown, and the EWS apartment are not built separately. They are merged with the penthouses, etc., where the maid's room is that is shown and sold at the same price as the apartment is sold. Right?
Also, they got additional benefit also. They
Yes.
got additional benefit.
And my understanding is this is happening across the board by all builders. This has come into light only because Dhananjay is what I would say a hawk eye. When the partial OC came up for Mantri, he noticed that there is a component of EWS mentioned in that OC. That is when the question came up.
Yeah, I just flashed it on the screen. If you can see in the DOD, they're mentioning about 580 units in the block 4. But when in the OC, when they given our BDA commissioner, he's saying 580 plus 100. And this 100 doesn't exist in the block. In Tower 4.
So where are these 100?
Where is this 100 flats? So this 100 doesn't exist. That's where I got a doubt. What is going on, right? The physical existence is only 580 flats, but OC says 680 flats. Where does
But
this?
do they not do the validation before passing all this order?
That's what I'm questioning. That's what I question.
That question is as good as mine. This is very
and by the way, it's not only in Mantri. When I dig down, there is another Shobha Arena in Kanakpura Road, right? There also is saying they have 657 apartments in the block, in the DOD, right? And in OC is saying 725 flats. Where is this number? Where is the difference? Anybody who can see the numbers, no, they can find out where is this 67 flats.
That's why I said it is across the board. I'm sure when you look,
it is across the board.
It will be there in your complex also.
So tomorrow somebody will come and ask you after transition and handover, no? Show me the EWS flats. What will you do?
True.
So this is where we need to be very cautious and check the documents before taking handover.
True. And Shyam and Swaminathan, anything else, or shall we?
Only thing I just no.
I'm done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you once again to Dhananjay sir and to Commander sir for your time.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend and thanks a lot. It's a very good crowd. Frankly speaking, a lot of questions and this is how we'll also learn. And thanks a lot for discussing on this. And thanks a lot, Commander sir.
Probably we may have to patch up again, and because this is and we are willing to. I mean, as an individual, I can say I'm willing to join, and from our side, whatever the support is needed, and probably that's a wonderful initiative you guys are taking care, and so probably I'll get in touch with you offline.
Definitely.
And because but once again, Commander sir and you and both of you really, I mean, I'm really grateful to join this session today.
Thanks a lot, and please keep spreading the knowledge, sir. That's the only request.
Yeah. Bhargava uncle wanted to.
Our effort is only fructified when you share knowledge with others.
Yes,
I
yes.
just
Right?
wanted to understand
We
that.
request that you share this knowledge with all your community members. Right? There will be some no sayers. We do agree, right? But sharing knowledge is how awareness will build up. Right? In each community, if awareness builds up, then we are almost achieving the goal.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
within 1 year, that's what the government also was woken up, because the people are asking questions. More we ask questions to the government, more we ask at the right platform. That's where we get answers. Otherwise, we'll not. So please spread the knowledge, sir. With that note, I think in the interest of time, I think Bhargava Reddy, sir, I think you have some questions. Probably you can get in touch with Shyam Gupta, sir, or you can directly contact me. My number is 9535177000. I will repeat 9535177000.
Yeah, I'll share that.
Sham must be having it.
Yeah,
So
I'll
will
share
discuss that separately.
Sure,
and in the interest,
sure.
I think thanks a lot, Commanders. And these are around 75 plus, but waking it up from last 2.5 hours and sharing his experience. Thanks a lot, Commander, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.